We're still counting down the days until the release of our kidnapped pupils and teachers. The 15th day of May 2026 was when this kidnap happened. It's the 3rd day of June, and yet we do not have any reports as to their returning. Now, bear in mind that this kidnapping happened not just in Oyo State, but also in Oyo State, where 42 pupils were kidnapped on the same day as the Oyo kidnap happened, and will continue to mount pressure on our government and our law enforcement agents to provide accountability as to the reuniting of these ones with their families. You're welcome to Breakfast Central. My name is Olive Emodi, and with me is Benga Borowa. Hello, Benga. Thank
you very much, Olive, for helping me to say my name. It sounds better when it comes from a female. But, I mean, in all seriousness, it's a somber mode in the country, and no one is really happy, or no one can go about their duties without having those kids in the bush at the back of their minds. Hopefully, something will be done very soon. We pray for their safe return. Welcome to Breakfast Central. Quite a lot to unpack today with regards to the politics in the nation, happenings, economy, and just everything you need to know about the latest news coming out of this great country of ours, Nigeria. I am Benga Borowa. Welcome to the program.
I was expecting that you also say my name.
Bro, I don't have time.
Anyway, welcome to Breakfast Central. Thank you for joining us. I think Olive and Benga have done well with the introductions. There's no need to ad-lib or add anything. We'll just go straight into the stories. Yesterday was filled with a lot of activities from National Union of Teachers, protests from different parts in the country. It was quite surprising and eye-opening. We thought it was only going to be in Ibadan. But all of a sudden, we saw Lagos join the protest. We saw Delta State. We saw some states in the northern region. They also joined the march. And their request was simple: enough is enough. Stop killing. Stop allowing the teachers to be suspects and to be captured, especially by bandits. They also went as far as making some demands. Yeah, they met a few governors. They met the FCT minister and a few persons. But just to highlight it very quickly, solidarity protest was held across 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory over the killing of the teacher and the abduction of pupils and staff in Oyo State. Remember, 2 teachers were killed. One was shot while they came into the schools. The other one was held captive and kidnapped alongside the pupils and other teachers, and eventually was decapitated. The protests followed the abduction of pupils and teachers in schools in Oriire local government. 3 weeks now after the abduction, the children and their teachers are still being held captive, they say, in the bush. The incident has since sparked outrage, which led to protests by the Nigerian Union of Teachers, civil society groups, not forgetting to mention too, there were also some residents in the state. They joined the demonstration as well, and they made their calls heard. Let's take a look at some of the videos that shows what happened in different states, especially with yesterday's protests.
Our teachers must be free. Must be free. Our teachers must be free. Our teachers must be free. Our students must be free. Our students must. Our teachers must be free. Our students must be free.
Àwọn ọ̀bá tìjà wá, ariwo tá a pa ní pé gbogbo àwọn ọmọ wa àti gbogbo olùkọ́ tí ń bẹ nínú igbó ẹ tú wọn lẹ̀, ẹ jẹ́ wọn máa bẹ́tù ẹ̀kọ́ wọn lọ. Àwọn ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa lórílẹ̀-èdè ń jẹ́ lọ tì mọ́nú igbó kọ́ máa yé gbogbo ẹni tí ọ̀bá mọ̀.
Sleep with our 2 eyes because of this insecurity.
Yes,
our students are kidnapped.
Yes,
teachers are not safe.
Yes,
government, please. Without teacher, a governor cannot become a governor.
Yes,
without teacher, a president cannot become a president.
Yes,
we provide all probation. We provide all probation. Please come to our aid. Provide securities. This insecurities is too much. It's too much. We are taking the pains. We are at the receiving end. Please.
We are not here to beg anybody. We are just asking people who claim they are elected to protect, to do their work. And it would have been great if this number of policemen who are preventing this can protect our schools. Your children are also in schools. And when the schools become the ground for kidnapping, one day your children will be kidnapped too.
Exactly.
I hope not. But this is a time for everybody to have common sense and do what is right. Very soon, there will be more of these protests. We won't come to the FCDA. This is the beginning. On Thursday, we are going to Aso Rock Villa if the children are not rescued. And we invite all Nigerians to come to the Aso Rock Villa. You cannot claim to be president of...
The government is aware of what is happening. But as teachers, we have come out to register our displeasure over the killings of our members. And we wouldn't that to continue. We wouldn't want that to continue. Because if it continues, even me here standing, I will leave the profession. I will not want myself to be a target of the bad set of people. These are people who don't have sympathies for people. If they have sympathies for people, why are they going ahead to kidnap younger ones, small children? Where are they taking them to? You can see the inhuman treatment meted on them. Of what benefit is that? Beheading a teacher, cutting off his neck. Why? What has he done? What was his offense? These are issues. These are issues. So we don't want that, and that is why we are coming out publicly to show our displeasure to the government. So that
this government will do everything possible that will normalcy return. So that's what I have to tell you people. So I have to say it now and let everybody hear me. You said it. You said it. That teachers in Abuja were kidnapped before. Nobody wants to strike. Nobody wants to strike. So what concerns you concerns everybody. What concerns Abuja also concerns everybody. So when it gets to our own, people should also rise to the same occasion.
Been born. So it's not the time for us to say, well, it is the president that should have handled this, it is the governor or the local government. This is a time to pull together as one. We're not dealing with normal human beings. We're dealing with people. I mean, just think briefly. How will somebody take a fellow human being and slaughter him? Is that somebody that is normal?
They are beasts.
So these are not normal people, and I can only appeal to you, both the students, the workers, the teachers. I can appeal to you to please have trust in your government. We're doing our best. I've heard from the federal government, security operatives that have been here for the past 2 weeks. They spent their salary here. I've been meeting with them morning, night, and sometimes 3-4 times in a day.
Where gone they come from?
Nas. They say Nas.
What's happened?
So sights and scenes of what took place during the National Union of Teachers protest across Nigeria. There are many more videos. Our reporters did a fantastic job yesterday ensuring that we combed different nooks and crannies, states, named them to follow through with the protest. But let's bring it back home here on Breakfast Central. While the protest was ongoing, Nigerians were looking out to hear if the #1 citizen, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will address the nation and, calm the people and let them know that things will definitely change and plans are being made. But some would also say, on the other hand, that a press release was released. Yeah, a press release. That there were going to be 1,000 guards that would actually be put in place to ensure that these ones will be protected and there will be no more kidnapping. But
no.
How long?
Let's talk about those 1,000 guards. Again,
The forest guards.
the forest guards being assigned to Oyo. These forest guards, their work is not to tackle the immediate crisis.
Absolutely.
The work of the forest guards is more proactive to prevent against future attacks. What about the current ones in captivity? The teachers, the 39 pupils who are in captivity, what is being done to ensure their release? But also, we must not forget that this kidnapping did not happen just in Borno State, in Oyo State rather. There was also a kidnapping in Borno, and we haven't heard what the plans are. There was a Safe School initiative that was implemented. What has been the success of the Safe School initiative? What we've seen in Borno State is that they were in class and, the bandits came, kidnapped 42 pupils in Borno State were kidnapped and are in the forest right now. Now they've moved them from the school, from the local government where they were schooling to another local government, and to ensure that they're able to guarantee their protection while this is happening. And bear in mind that this is the first school kidnap since 2014 when Chibok girls were kidnapped from their school. So it's a lot of things. The
first?
Yes, in Borno State since
Okay.
Chibok. That they did a school kidnap, first in Borno State. So the question is, what steps have been made? And also there's the angle of those who say, are we seeing a selective outrage? Because even in all of this, I assure you that there are people who are watching now that are not aware that there was also a kidnapping in Borno State on the day that the kidnapping happened in Oyo State. Because it feels like now it's coming closer to the south. There's a lot of outrage. There's a lot of anger. What of the ones in the north? Are they not, is any Nigerian more Nigerian than another Nigerian?
Absolutely.
So,
and still talking about all of this, the bane of government is just they're always reactionary. That's one of their biggest criticism. And when issues like this come up, it's very easy to throw words like, okay, we'll give you forest guards, we'll do this. And one thing I found really despicable in what the government did recently, New Central Crew, where in the community where this happened, in Oriire, local government area, the Bale of Yawata community says, and I quote, it says, when government officials came to console us, they brought rice and money, but the parents rejected it and stated that they only want the safe release of their children. It just says it all. How insensitive can you be? People have lost their words and loved ones, and the best thing you can think of is rice and money.
But I'm proud of those mothers for rejecting. Because
it sends a strong message.
Yes. How long will we continue to mortgage our future because of a bag of rice and some money? It's okay for you to take a stand. Be hungry. Your children are in the bush. Take a stand and refuse to collect any form of palliative. Let your children be reunited with you. And then you can now start to look at other options. But whilst they're in the bush, and even during elections, I hope that this sets a standard for how we react when politicians try to, bribe, because that's what it is when they're trying to bribe you with rice. The solution to insecurity is not rice. The solution to poverty is not rice. The solution to, stop kidnapping, banditry, and all the likes, it's not rice. Rice cannot play a factor in any of these things. But unfortunately, that's what a number of our politicians seem to think.
I think we've also gotten a clear understanding that the solution to even hunger is actually not rice. And if you look at it from a context on which that is being said, they always say, teach a man how to fish, right? or don't just give a man fish, but teach him how to fish. If you give someone a mini 2 bag of rice, tiny bag of rice, 1 derika, and they eat today, they'll be waiting for you to come back tomorrow. But they'll wait for longer, 4 years. So between when you gave it to them and after 4 years when you came back, or you do what's called outreach, which in a year you do only twice, and people will gather just to receive another derika of rice, then where is the hope? Apparently, what we've seen, there were also videos where they were giving raw meat, you know, to people. They cut them in pieces. They said it's part of the celebration. We do understand. But the way it was even given, in a manner...
Unhygienic.
Unhygienic. People were gathered. They were holding the meat in their hands and saying, you take, line up. People were lining up. At the end of the day, you ask, are we weaponizing poverty?
I mean, we are.
To a level where we're a society where we see people... Funny enough, Nigerians are willing to work, whether you like it or not. Unlike our counterparts, Nigerians are hard-working people. So why don't you create the jobs?
The enabling environment.
Yeah, during the entire campaign process and so on, what we saw was, oh, we'll create how many jobs? Today, we ask questions from National Bureau of Statistics. How many jobs have been created? The Ajaokuta steel is still lying there looking. The refineries are still there. Over trillions of naira was signed with the Chinese company. To today, we're still not seeing the memo of what the agreements were. So what is really going on? There's a lot happening, I must be honest. But then again, we must say well done to the Nigerian Union of Teachers. They did fantastically well. Why we say so is because sometimes the media cannot just amplify the voices well enough. The people who feel the pain sometimes should be able to shout. Like when you go to the hospital, the doctor says, where are you feeling the pain? Oh, I feel it here. You have to show that this is where it hurts. And that's exactly what he did yesterday. But
just to add to that very quickly, when I was speaking about the kidnap in Borno State, it's the Borno State government has ordered the closure of Musa Primary and Junior Secondary School in Askira Uba local government area following the abduction of these 42 school children by Boko Haram terrorists. Now, they've also been relocated following the incident. The state government directed the immediate shutdown of the school and ordered that affected pupils be relocated to safer learning areas within the local government area. And, as part of the emergency measures under the Safe Schools Initiative, the Commissioner for Education, Science and Technology and Innovation, Engineer Lawan Abawakibi, on Monday ordered the temporary closure of the school. They have relocated to a place where students are expected to continue their education under security arrangements that have been improved. Okay. Yes, I mean, before we go back to what's happened as well, I think we should speak to are we going to speak to the church's position on this and the criticism?
In line with that.
Exactly. So what we've seen lately is, whilst a lot of celebrities have come out to speak about this, there have been also a call on religious leaders to be able to speak about this. Some have criticized religious leaders for being complicit in the fight against insecurity. And one of such who has been thrown under the weight is Pastor Adeboye, the pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. And there has been an official debunking. So they did post out a report. They did a post where they were analyzing and addressing false rumors regarding statements. I mean, of course, they said that a lot had been said over time and they hadn't addressed it. And yesterday there was a post on Instagram. This says, addressing false narratives circulating about Pastor Adeboye and the RCCG. One claim is that Pastor Adeboye campaigned for the government in power. Their verdict is that it is false, and the explanation is Pastor Adeboye has always encouraged members of the Redeemed Christian Church of God to get their PVCs and vote for anyone of their choice. He has always maintained a neutral stance on political parties, as members of the church are members of various political parties. Next claim, that Pastor Adeboye called off a planned protest. Verdict, false. Pastor Adeboye only communicated the instruction of the Pentecostal Fellowship in Nigeria to members of the RCCG on the updated plan to have the grand finale of the 3-day prayer program in a centralized venue and hold a rally around the venue. This was communicated by PFN to all churches under Nigeria. So even the allegations of him keeping quiet regarding the happenings in Nigeria and the killings in Nigeria, a lot of that has been debunked on their official page, and you can check it out, or check on Leke Adeboye's page where he's put up some of these posts. And
Pastor Adeboye yesterday made a statement. He said, if service chiefs cannot bring back this or end terrorism in 3 months, they should be given the marching order. I mean, they should resign. Yes.
That's what he said. That's what he said.
All right.
I don't know if we have the footage. If we have that video, it will be good to put that video up now, so we can also get to see what was said.
I believe you can't command him. Because if you command the commander-in-chief, then you become the commander of the commander-in-chief. That doesn't make sense. But I've tried. And God is my witness. So then, I don't want to take much of your time. What should we do now? I'm talking to you as my children. If I were asked to make suggestions, I would say quietly to our government, move fast and tell our security chiefs get rid of these terrorists within 90 days or resign.
All right.
Evidence
So that was
to
way
say he has
back
never
in
spoken about
November.
the security in Nigeria was done last year. To share with you that he has, and maybe we should channel our anger to the actual people that owe Nigerian citizens protection. That is our government, our security agencies. These are the ones. And yes, you can, pastors and political, religious leaders can speak about it. They are not the primary ones responsible for protecting Nigerian citizens. The primary responsibility of the church, the mosque, is to help in faith, inspire hope for Nigerian citizens. Because, yes, and also to be able to speak, right? So the primary person or body that is responsible for this is the government. Yes, it's important for our religious leaders to speak because we are all being affected. But that's evidence that, yes, indeed, he did speak about it and should not be thrown under the bus.
My take on this is, I mean, religious leaders are very powerful. And like you said, it's not their primary responsibility. They're men of, they're the pulpit. They mount the pulpit and their work is not to carry guns. And we've seen them wield tremendous influence. Father Tom Huddleston, Bishop Desmond Tutu, and also Martin Luther King were reverends, and we saw their impact. So while acknowledging that it's not their primary responsibility, they do have a role to play. And if they continue to speak up against some of these ills in society, it could really help to turn the corner.
Yes, I completely agree with you. It is important for them to speak up. I'm just saying, what I was saying was in line of priority. Speak to the government, speak to those who you voted in.
Absolutely.
Religious leaders should speak up because it affects all of us, right? But we shouldn't say what we're not sure of. In this case, this video was from last year. It wasn't a recent video. It was from November last year, according to reports. But let's share with you what the
we should go to the next
Nigerians are saying about this. Do we have enough time for that? Or we should move on to our next story? All right.
Let's go on to our next story.
Let's move on to our next story about INEC. Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has launched an investigation into a suspected leak of voter, well, is it suspected? A leak of voter information from its continuous voter registration database. The incident, which involved the personal record of a candidate of the Nigerian Democratic Congress, Emeka Ike, in a recent FCT primary election by media aid of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, Mr. Oriire Olayinka, INEC insists that there was no external hacking, but rather an internal or insider misuse of valid access credentials. The Department of State Services said to have joined the probe, and Nigerians are asking if one can record, if one's record can be leaked, what does this mean for the security of millions of voters ahead of the 2027 elections? This incident has also raised serious concerns about data protection, electoral integrity, and public trust in the electoral umpire. Now, this is the post in a bid to call out Oriire Olayinka this, of course, is Emeka Ike's information that was being publicly uploaded and, publicly shared. But let's now share with you, we'll share what Nigerians are saying, but also just to share our thoughts first. INEC has come out to say that it was, and INEC and Leroy Layinka had admitted that it was an INEC staff that had shared this information. INEC cannot excuse itself from liability because the INEC staff is not acting as an as an independent person. In this situation, they are representative of INEC. So if an INEC staff has access to this information, wrongfully shares this access to this information with the private citizen, INEC cannot completely wash its hands off that. And then Leroy Layinka, who then says he didn't have back-end access to this information but got it from the person, cannot be totally exonerated from the primary principal offense that has been committed here. INEC has been in the spotlight for the wrong reasons. The most recent being Professor Joash Amipito allegedly being linked to the APC, a claim INEC has come out to deny, stating that they were in some way set up. It was a parody account, and they found a way, they explained that saying it was wrong, but Nigerians and other independent investigative journalists criticized INEC for not, one, using an independent investigative journalist that would, or an independent auditor to share their information publicly. If you recall, what INEC did was they said that they got an independent auditor and they shared the results of what this independent auditor had said, not necessarily the independent auditor being the one to share that. So a lot of all that had cast some doubt on the integrity of INEC, which has been quite a doubt that has been cast for a long time. But what the next steps are, Emeka Ike is threatening to sue. We will be having him hopefully join us on the show tomorrow to speak more about this. But we would be continuing the conversation in depth, gentlemen.
Yeah, I mean, so my question simply is, what is the difference between what the special advisor to the FCT minister did and what a former FCT minister did? Data breach, leakage. One said he tapped into a phone and listened to conversations. Mm-hmm. One worked with someone who went to, in quotes, a restrictive back end, and got information from there, whether you like it or not.
And you took the responsibility to post it on your own page.
On your own page.
Implication.
And even mocked and even exposed the person's personal details. Should anything happen to the actor as we speak this morning, the first culprit is definitely the SSA to the FCT minister. Because you've exposed everything. Not just that. So I ask myself, are we engaged in, okay, what is good for the goose is not good for the gander, or better still, because he's in power, he works with the FCT minister, so he should not be touched. This morning, Vanguard, they put up a story that DSS have also jumped into the story.
Good.
Vanguard. My point is, at this moment, this particular action affects over 240
the integrity of the entire process.
The integrity of the country. That what moves the country forward and decides how the country would grow or how the country would govern itself is actually INEC and its portal. This one single individual is not bigger than 240-something million Nigerians, that he would gain access and say this. And we all know how this story would end if care is not taken, except Nigerians.
Now, we'll stay on the story and we'll make sure that it's brought to a justifiable conclusion.
I don't get it. That you go to the back end, you get the data, you were being probed, you were asked on social media, you kept quiet. All of a sudden, we're hearing that, oh, it's somebody that works in INEC. So there's somebody that's going to raise ugly head as a scapegoat. We all know this story.
I mean, it's similar to people that are drug couriers. Oh, I'm not aware of the parcel I was carrying, but you were caught with drugs in an airport.
Unfortunately, you first of all sleep in jail for like how many days?
You're as guilty as the person that sent the drugs in the first place. Number two, we're paying almost $1 trillion taxpayers' money to conduct elections, and then we're seeing this sort of breach of privacy, back end. I mean, Nigerians have a trust deficit with the INEC, and this will just add more fire to the flame. It's really, really unfortunate. And also, people that share child pornography, they're as guilty as the source. So the police doesn't want to know where you got it from, as long as you have it. For somebody of Leroy Layinka's status, and exposure. You expect better from him. Address
and as a
private
journalist,
citizens, and as a journalist, you put up that sort of post and you think there won't be reactions and there won't be blowback. I really hope no sacred cows are spared, and the police and DSS and everyone involved will see this to a justifiable conclusion.
And just to mention that we did reach out to Larry Olayinka, but he has declined to appear and to speak on this. But to also further highlight the fact that as at this morning, 7:31 a.m. on the 3rd day of June, we still have the tweet put up. So the tweet is still up there. And if indeed he believes he has done something wrong, he would have taken down the tweet. The fact that the tweet is still there shows a level of
with Emeka Ike's
arrogance,
personal information,
right? A level of I really care.
Don't get it.
This was a tweet that was put out to spite Emeka Ike and the obedience. He said Emeka Ike was a registered voter in Imo State. He only transferred his INEC registration to the FCT on May 15, 2026, and he wants to contest for House of Reps in Abuja. Someone who has never voted in the FCTO. What happened to his Imo State? Disobedient people, And in the course of trying to spite Emeka Ike, he put out his private, personal information and hasn't yet seen a need to bring down this post, even with the public backlash. Again, it speaks to the consequences or the lack of consequences that we have as a nation. If everyone's calling you out on a certain action, if you knew that you are committing a crime, there's several laws that govern this. There's the Nigeria Data Protection Act, Cybercrime Act 2015. So you can look at these laws and see the areas in which you've stepped out of line and think, you know what, I didn't know better, I should take it down. If the DSS had swooped in on him immediately, maybe he would have had to take it down. And what Nigerians are asking is if we have double standards in the country where if it's a private citizen who's not in any way...
would have been handcuffed by now.
That did that about a public official, will the private citizen be in his house by now?
Absolutely not.
He would have been handcuffed by now. That's why I saw a video today. I heard the FCC invited, what's his name, Portable. And he was screaming. He said he's not going to come until the country is better in September. He will show up. You're now giving people more reasons to compare and tell you, is it not the same law, one law? But, I mean, it's been said many times that Nigeria may be surviving on multiple law systems, where there's a law that affects a certain class of people, and then there's a law that affects a certain class of other individuals. Because I still cannot get over it that someone would get my data and put it on Twitter with over how many billion subscribers, and where he got that data from is supposed to be the most protected and secured, worth over 1 trillion naira in view for an election that's coming in 2027, and one single individual who is actually one who talks a lot and one who actually says he's a journalist. I'm shocked. I wish Mr. Leary actually granted us...
And the arrogance of it, like Olive pointed out, that this tweet is still there as we speak. It's still
like I don't care. No, so at that level, when I checked, I saw it, I said, there are two things involved. He can't delete it.
Why can't he delete it?
So, complicit. You delete, complicit. You need to speak...
I mean, it's already complicit.
No.
We know there's complicity. We know. But sometimes they will tell you...
So it might be admission of guilt.
There's admission. That means he has deleted. Then it forms another headline.
No.
SSA to FCT
whether he deletes it or not, the crime has been committed.
So after...
He's breached an individual's private
information.
Privacy.
And there are so many laws. I can start to read them this morning.
So many laws
that govern what he should...
Even his boss doesn't have immunity.
Right. So the question again is, because of the kind of person that he is in terms of his association to power, if nothing is being done about it, there might be, and Nigerians have started already to interpret the fact that he's SA to one of the most protected ministers in the cabinet, protected by the current administration. So if nothing is done about it, and he offers no explanation in a sense, or, takes accountability for his actions, it will then send a message of impunity and approval of impunity to the Nigerian audience, which is really sad. Let's take some comments on YouTube. But let's get to comments.
Do you know the implication of this? People are still looking at it like, maybe child's play. Do you know what brought down the Watergate scandal that brought down the Nixon administration? It was phone tapping the lines of 2 New York Times journalists. It was that serious that the most powerful president on earth had to resign because of that. And look at what Larry Olayinka is doing. The entire country and INEC, if INEC and Professor Josh Amupito want to save their reputation. They better act.
Their reputation is already hanging by a thread.
If you ask me, I said it yesterday, I'm going to say it again, unapologetically. I think Professor George Amkuto should review where he stands as INEC boss now.
Absolutely.
Because the optics, the analysis, the entirety of everything that's happening around INEC does not look good. It doesn't look good. Just a few months ago, you were struggling to run away from a particular identification.
We're not even
in
done
terms
with
of
that.
number. We're not done with that. Olive highlighted, we're not done with that. That case seems to be closed because there are other issues around. But like we say, we will try to stay on the stories. And we're also going to send an invitation to Professor Jones. Hopefully, he will grant us to speak on these issues. Because if you don't speak on these issues, I am sorry, and I'm going to say to Nigerians, sorry. The elections that's going to happen in 2027 already is being faulted by all of these negativities.
You cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. So right now, the thing that will be a huge determinant of Nigerians being able to receive the election, which is a critical part of our democratic process, is being able to see INEC as an independent judge, that the I in INEC stands for independence. And right now, Nigerians have questioned it, even from previous elections, but in the most recent time from Professor George Amukweton, even to INEC's role in the inter-party politics of being able to interpret court judgment. You remember not too long ago, antebellum, and the INEC's role in being able to interpret what antebellum means, where the antebellum began from, and whose name should be officially on the portal. But let's take comments on YouTube for the two stories that we've taken this morning. Michael Obieku says, if Leroy Olayinka can have access to INEC server, then you can imagine how much access Wike will have. Well, he says that he did not have access to it. That was an INEC staff who gave him that detail.
That simply means you also have access to it. If you see a private message, it's also part of the data. If you see a private message of a private person and you view it together, that means you also, as a third party, you've gained access to it.
Right. Mike Omovudu says they're already planning 2027 rigging. You see the lack of trust that's already being shown.
The implications.
Michael Obieku still says, this only further exposes the much confidence they display every time you hear them speak, knowing fully well that they have access to our INEC server and can manipulate every information to their benefit. We also have Victor Okebata says, DSS is the security department of APC, so don't expect them to do anything to Larry. Have you forgotten who he is? Nejisan says, if you believe that anything will be done to Larry Olayinka, it's like believing a Nigerian will go to the moon one day. Well, a Nigerian will go to the moon one day. Nothing will be done to him. Ogenetega says, the arrogance of Mr. Larry is not far-fetched. Like Oga, like SSA. Michael Obieku says, I just knew Larry Olayinka's cup was going to be full someday with the way he has been going around misbehaving and talking down on people just because he's an aide to an appointed minister. Mr. Johnson says, like I said yesterday, we are facing a lot of issues at the same time. Unfortunately, we can't go after all at once. This Mr. Larry issue is as big as anything you can think of. Regarding the first story we talking about insecurity, there were reactions to Pastor Adeboye's criticism or the claims about him saying that, you know, he had not spoken about insecurity. Ikenna Bright says, Adeboye saying service of chiefs should resign. Did we vote in service chiefs, rather? We also have Michael Zeus says, Pastor Adeboye's sudden comment is an afterthought. Why didn't he speak for almost 3 weeks? We now know the true men of God. And Adeboye, Bakare, Kumuyi, and Ejike Mbaka are not among them. Now, just to mention, it wasn't 3 weeks ago, like we mentioned earlier. It was a video from last year. Annie Chinedu Brown says, did you suggest that during Jonathan's government? You called him out, but today your targets are on service chiefs, not the president. That's double standard. Abdul Ibrahim says, Madam, when a particular pastor is being called out, you should know it's because the person is used to doing it and is expected the person continues the struggle, not selective. Okay, that will be all on that story. And our conclusion on that is to say that, yes, again, we recognize the role that our religious leaders have, the influence that they wield, and we often hold them to account to be able to use that for the benefit of the Nigerian public. But here we're just pointing that out, that they had verified that he had spoken in previous times.
Let's go to X, Olive.
Yes, let's go to X
as
as well
to
and
X
take some
quickly,
tweets.
and
Then we'll
let's
come back
see
to YouTube later.
what Nigerians are saying.
On X this morning, our next tweet regarding the INEC situation. It says, INEC didn't just lose one voter record. They exposed the rotting heart of Nigeria's democracy when a political aide can pull private citizen data from your secure portal like it's a WhatsApp chat rather. Trust is dead. This isn't a misuse of credentials. This is institutional capture. 2027 is not safe. Nigerians are watching. Next tweet.
Next tweet says, let me summarize it. Lawyer to the bad boys. I don't really understand. One, there is a back door open for some individuals. INEC claims they gave access to some individuals. Two, they claim there was no breach and they had conducted their own investigation. Three, they are claiming that the DSS has begun its own investigation and they didn't report it to either the NDPC or even NITDA. Aha. Four, in all, we don't really send una papa, make una do una worst. This INEC cannot conduct a free and fair election. This system is already strategically crafted for corruption, titled in favor, and he says it's for the APC. I was also expecting, as we go to the next week, that the APC will also bring out a statement.
I also wonder why everything is done in statements when we're real-life human beings. Can you not call a press conference and let's interface?
Even if you don't want to do press
let's
conference.
ask questions.
Call
Look,
shows.
the United States
There are
of
many
America,
morning shows.
in all its criticism, you will find Donald Trump every other 2 days. He has to answer to members of the press.
Can't they just
That's the busiest man in the world. If it's on Air Force One, if it's in person, every other 2 days, he will be speaking to members of the press. This is not the president. This is an institution of state that was created by the Nigerian National Assembly, Acts of Parliament. They are answerable to the Nigerian people. We don't want to be reading press statements. Face us, interface with the people, ask questions face to face, call journalists, and let's ask. You're not going to just leave a statement and then you make us speculate.
Just to ride on what you've said,
yeah.
We've had that thing as an issue. Remember, not just with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, even with President Buhari.
But these guys are not presidents. We're talking of INEC and...
I'm saying to you that, you know, they learn this behavior from the top. Because we have a pattern where leaders don't feel like they need to address citizens. With late President Buhari, the criticism was that he hardly ever addressed Nigerian citizens. In fact, the phrase body language was made popular during his tenure. And then we had President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who, you know, you understand what happened during his campaigns. They would go to Chatham House, they would ask him questions, he would delegate the question to another person. So when at the highest levels, there are certain things that a leader does that then trickles down to all the other. If the president felt the need to address Nigerians as often as possible, the governors will take you and do the same. The heads of parastatals will take a cue and do the same. So I think that that's something that we need to speak about, especially as we're heading towards 2027 elections. We want to see a lot of all the politicians running for office. They need to have debates. We want to see media debates. Come to the media, talk to the media, respect Nigerian citizens enough to come up for interviews. When we, all three of us, wanted this job, we came on this station for an interview. Our employer interviewed us. Nigerian citizens are the employers. No, we did not send press release. Yeah. Press release is the form of our CV. So we not only did press release, but we came for interview. Nigerian citizens are the employers. So from top to bottom, everyone who is in, head of MDAs, running for presidency, our governors, they must address Nigerian citizens.
You know, Joe has this saying that, I mean, he looks at the Bondi Beach terrorist attack. That is the gold standard for crisis communication. And everyone should study it from top to bottom. We've had series of crises. There will be a special hotline and then up-to-date hotline for anyone that has information with regards to the kidnappings or any sort of crisis. And then you have the police department of that city, the mayor, giving constant, regular updates on what is happening, similar to what NCDC used to do during the COVID in the
where every day they are giving us numbers.
It's just standard. And all these people, when you see their CV, you see member Nigerian Institute of Public Relations. What have you learned? What do you know about public relations? It doesn't show in the way you conduct yourselves. And, you're right. They look at Nigerians like, they will soon move on. They'll forget about it. Let's not give them that oxygen. Forgetting that it's their responsibility.
Today is day 3. And we're saying it here. EFCC. We need updates on a few
Day 3, Ken. No, it's not.
No, I'm coming. I just want to highlight day 3. Today is Wednesday. For this week.
Yeah.
EFCC needs to give updates on certain, cases that Nigerians are asking for. There should be updates. 2, this particular one, this particular one that has the SSA to the FCT minister,
Since
we would
Saturday.
follow through. That one is in Saturday.
Sunday, Monday,
we would
Tuesday,
follow
Wednesday.
through updates. And I do not, it's appalling, guys. It's surprising. But that takes us to our next story as we look to wrap up. Nigeria's Senate President is also in the news this morning. Senator Godswill Akpabio has raised eyebrows with a bold assurance, telling senators who lost their party primaries that they may still get return tickets.
How?
Please, is it wild card or table tennis or lawn tennis?
Wild card or golden card. We will vote. Me, you, and only.
So I want to stop the story.
Nigeria's got talent.
Is there in Nigerian constitution
And then it's really Nigeria or American Idol, one of them, that they have
Nigerian
the golden buzzer. Automatic qualification to the
Let's
final.
watch the video. Don't take our words for it. Just watch and hear what the Senate President said.
I congratulate the political parties, one or two of which emanated from these chambers, that recently concluded their primaries and all the internal democratic processes. I felicitate particularly with those who have secured their mandates to represent their parties in the next election. I know that there will always be victories and disappointments, yet above every individual triumph stands a greater triumph, the triumph of democracy itself. And in this Senate, we are promised that we will have very few disappointments. And I do know that the Senate leader and the leadership of the Senate is working very hard towards that. So in advance, I will say congratulations to all of us across party lines.
Okay, so while we try to get the fuller video, in the conversation, of course, highlighted by the newspapers as the Punch and Vanguard, they also mentioned that while the Senate President was talking, they were looking at ensuring that some members will return.
How?
But in particular, the major crux of the conversation yesterday, apart from the Senate President, was the fact that a minority leader yesterday decided to make clear his resignation in the Green Chamber. And we're talking about K.O. Chinda. He said he had resigned since April 23rd as a minority leader before moving to the APC. Hence why he now ran to contest for the seat of governorship. And Nigerians are not having it this morning. Nigerians are saying how. Usually when a senator or a rep, House of Rep member resigns,
it's the first line of action.
Exactly.
During the next plenary.
They announce, oh, this person has a letter. But surprisingly, a member of the,
a ranking member, not an ordinary member.
Not an ordinary member, a ranking member, a minority leader, another member of the House of Reps said he doesn't need to announce it. As long as he goes to,
the letter.
His letter, it takes it to the ward, is fine. And Nigerians are saying, okay, if he doesn't need to announce it, what happened to the fact that he was still bearing the minority leader?
Even after that date.
With that date, up until yesterday when he said, I'm no more. So why were you holding that position? Let me take off my glasses. Why are you holding that position? Why didn't you, when you resigned April 23rd, what is usually done? Wouldn't the Senate meet and vote and try to get another person
leader
to fill that seat? So what month are we in? We're in June.
It's eating his cake and having it.
Hi.
Yeneba. And we've seen precedents.
I mean, this is the bastardization
That's the list of my problems. I want to go back
processes.
to the Senate President and the statement that he made. This is not the first, second, or third time that Godswill Akpabio has been in the news for the wrong reasons. Recall, this same senator was the one who made mention of the fact that the lawmakers receive prayers in their emails. And Nigerians asked, what is prayers in your emails, right? And we,
anyway,
of course...
you see food chop, remember that one?
Now, making this statement, what is the inference? Saying that there will be fewer disappointments. Are these senators the ones that vote themselves or elect themselves? And is it not the Nigerian people? It goes back to the question that we always ask whenever we hear any governor say they're going to deliver 2.5 million votes. You only have one vote. How are you going to guarantee 2.5 million votes? What are you going to do behind the scenes that Nigerians cannot see to guarantee that 2.5 million votes? So again, what does Godswill Akpabio mean when he says you know, that he guarantees that there will be fewer disappointments and that they are working very hard on this. We would like a bit of a lot of clarification, actually. And this is a question to the Senate. It would be great for Senator Godswill Akpabio to help us clarify that, because I don't understand that. Maybe at this point...
I mean, because there's a lacuna now. People have thrown the Electoral Act has been challenged, so we've seen movement. So you can go to another political party, try your luck there, and maybe you'll return to the Senate. That's the lawful and logical conclusion.
And Gbenga, is it not shocking that INEC still says that they don't have a date yet? There was also a press release from INEC. They don't have a date yet to end the win.
You know, the courts, everything is just muddled up.
Everything is just going. Even, you know, I was telling someone asked me yesterday, while we finished this, and said, how do you guys cope when you see? I said, see, even as a journalist, there's no journalist in the land today that can beat his chest, and I'm saying it here in front of the cameras, that says he understands fully what is going on for the past 3 months. With
even
the courts,
just the courts alone.
With the statements.
I mean,
it's you want to, okay, as we speak now, while Okechinda was going through this, a court decided to nullify all of Wike's allies who moved to the APC, including him, and returned it back to Beke, who they say is the substantive and the original APC member in Rivers State. So, wait, we spent all that money
to come back here
to do primaries. Even the one who was a minority leader still held on to that position, but still went in for a primary. What is... And then you come to the journalists and say, journalists are... For us, we are guided by the laws and the, you know, principles of the land.
And we report what we see.
We report, and we're like, wait, but this is not what is going on. What's happening? There seems to be a tumble over, or like they say, I mean, look at
the PDP too. I mean, you're nominating somebody in absentia. He hasn't talked. So,
as Jonathan spoke,
I want to say 2 things.
As former President Jonathan.
Regarding your namesake, Jonathan, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. So yesterday we had 2 guests for 2 different interviews on the show. Two different segments and 2 different perspectives. Comrade Jude Imagwe was his essay when he was president, and Comrade Jude Imagwe categorically said on the show that if there are 30 people that are aware that President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is running for office, he's one of the 30 people. And I asked him clearly, are you categorically saying that he's not running? He said clearly, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan is not running. The next interview we had was with Dr. Pierce, who's a chieftain with the APC, who now says that he's a consensus governorship candidate for the PDP, I beg your pardon. Consensus governorship candidate for the PDP. Dr. Pierce says...
For Lagos State.
For Lagos State. Dr. Pierce says that the president, the former president, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, indicated interest to run for presidency, spoke to them, and they did the screening, and they presented him the certificate of return, and he sent someone to receive the certificate of return. When we presented to him what Comrade Jude Imagwe had said, he said in his response that if former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was not interested, then why would he send someone to receive the certificate of return? Which is a valid answer. Now, go back to some weeks ago when some young people took a parade to his office in Abuja asking him to run. He said that running for presidency in Nigeria is not a computer game and that he would make a decision after doing a wide consultation. Now, go back to many months ago when the former First Lady, Her Excellency Patience Jonathan, was asked about going back to Aso Rock. She said, God forbid, she's not interested in going back there. She knows what her eyes saw there. And then she makes reference to the fact that the current president and the First Lady are their friends, and they were very supportive of them when in office, so they have no intention of going back to Aso Rock. Now...
No, it cannot be a political statement.
So the question is President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan running for office? And it would be great for him to come out and speak
is actually adding more tension into the polity.
Yes.
So the silence, there are 2 things I need to say in the next 2 weeks. The courts need to wrap up everything they're doing with regards to the true leadership of PDP. And then even, it's really hard on journalists. Look at Labour Party, for example.
It's exhausting.
Somebody is giving free forms.
Free forms.
And okay, you don't even need to buy. Just, a different national chairman. And then you have PDP, it's really hard to keep
PDP,
up.
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was given the certificate of return by the Taminu Turaki-led faction of the
And then the
People's
ADC,
Party.
a young man just concluded his own.
Yes.
He said he's doing his screening.
He has
Nafiu
picked.
Balagombe.
Yes, he has picked his president.
So that would be the third convention.
Chima Uba, so I can't remember.
Oh, he has picked.
He has picked. He has picked. They have a presidential
So
candidate.
where's the hope for ordinary Nigerians?
3.
You're not happy with the ruling part, with the ruling government, and then the opposition seems to be in disarray.
It is fragmented.
And fragmented. So what are we? So the problem is still the Nigerian people.
You've not even
at
talked
end
about
of
the
day,
SDP.
that we've not organized ourselves.
Another faction is out with their own presidential candidate. Legal.
So what is the hope for Nigeria?
What is INEC going to print on the ballot box? So SDP, you know their logo is a horse. So half a horse. Then the other faction will take the lower horse.
I don't really.
Then the umbrella of PDP, they'll divide it into 2.
Don't get.
No, maybe 3.
Because look, we're dealing with people's lives here. We've not even started talking about the issues, the campaign, the manifestos. We're still trying to find who will be the flag bearer for these parties. And everything seems to be in a mess. And we cannot even afford to, as a country, to be in this sort of, because we're paying catch-up. There are real-life implications to how this country is being governed. People's lives are lost on a daily basis, their livelihoods, and it seems
Fuel
it's
is
just
expensive.
a joke. Fuel is
Everything.
expensive. We haven't even started talking about the issues that matter, and everything is overtaken by politics.
And you know why everything is overtaken by politics? This is why insecurity has spiraled out of control, because our focus isn't where the focus should be. Our leadership, our governors, our president, our political office holders are more focused on politics. Yes, they will tell you about the efforts that are being done behind the scenes, but the truth is the way that Nigerians feel and the sense that we get from a lot of their statements is that there has been a lot of focus on politics and politicking, and it gives them the sense that, the leadership isn't particularly as involved or invested in
So in
governance.
conclusion, in the words of the great Johansson, Nigerians are Nigerians' problems.
Yes, Nigerians are really Nigeria's problem.
Nigerians are Nigeria's problem. Just to be. And
we take a
Nigerians,
few-
and bear in mind, Nigerians also consist of those who work in government spaces.
Everyone.
Every single person. It involves that. But
Can we
as
take one
wrap
or two
things up-
comments on YouTube and then we
Okay,
can
I wanted
move
to go on X, but it's fine.
Okay. Adewumi says they are actively killing the party from within. The question is, which party are we talking about? Is it APC? Is it PDP? Is it Labour Party? Is it SDP? Because all of them is really Fuji House of Commotion. Media Judges says Akpabio leadership will not be forgotten for the nonsense it turned the Senate into. We also have Joseph Smart, who says, good morning, Oliver and Gbenga. Is it not even surprising that a wiki who likes to talk organized a media chat on Monday after the Lere issue was reported last week and yet refused to speak about it? Another angle. And then Michael Movudu says, good luck, Jonathan is a wise man. He will not run. The PDP should not waste their time. But regardless of whether he will run or not, we want to hear directly from President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Let's head to share with you what our headlines and our top stories today on Breakfast Central are. This morning on Breakfast Central, these are the stories we will be exploring. INEC probes leak of voter data, traces user account to an INEC official, and then talking about the strike, NUT Take It Back movement embarks on nationwide protest over Oyo State kidnappings. And we'll still be looking at security, the national security in focus. Senate condemns Oyo School abductions as plenary resumes. NDC's Rotimi Obasanjo alleges fraud in Etiosa House of Reps. We will review the front pages as usual, and at this point, we open the phone lines to hear your voice. So stay tuned for all these and more. The Nigerian Union of Teachers has embarked on nationwide protests following the abduction of pupils and teachers from schools in Oriire local government area of Oyo State. These kidnappings, which occurred on the 15th of May, have sparked outrage across the country, forcing schools to shut down and teachers to take to the streets in solidarity. The protests are just not about the Oyo abductions alone. They're also about the abductions that have happened in Borno State as well. They highlight a growing national emergency, the safety of our schools, our teachers, and our children. Let's take a look at this video.
Our teachers must be free. must be free.
Been born. So it's not the time for us to say, well, it is the president that should have handled this, it is the governor or the local government. This is a time to pull together as one. We're not dealing with normal human beings. We're dealing with people. I mean, just think briefly. How will somebody take a fellow human being and slaughter him? Is that somebody that is normal?
They are beasts.
So these are not normal people, and I can only appeal to you, both the students, the workers, the teachers. I can appeal to you to please have trust in your government. We're doing our best. I've heard from the federal government, security operatives that have been here for the past 2 weeks. They spent their salary here. I've been meeting with them morning, night, and sometimes 3-4 times in a day.
Well, joining us this morning are members of the Take It Back movement. We have Femi Adeyeye and also President of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Mr. Kintaye Afiz. They join us this morning to look into this situation. Thank you so much for joining us, Mr. Afiz. And also, we look forward to have the other guests who would equally join us in the course of the conversation. First off, what is NANS doing about the current situation of insecurity that's affected students as well as teachers? Can we rightly say that NANS has, in a way, slowed down in highlighting these challenges in the society and the country? Because it had to take the National Union of Teachers to take the lead as well.
Thank you very much. Good morning. I am Akite Babatunde Afiz, and it's nice to be in the studio today. There are a lot of times now that's come out to condemn attacks and insecurity in the country. And on the 23rd of May, we had our election in Abuja, which I came on board. And 3 days or 4 days after, I made a statement to call for actions and movement of all NAS stakeholders and leaders for Oyo State over this issue, even before NUT declared their strike and protest over the same issue. It has been 3 weeks, and we came on board about 8 days ago. We have been on the issue almost immediately after our election. I made a statement, even on our election ground. I made a statement condemning the incessant kidnapping case of our students, because it is a condemnable act by those from those enemies of the state, by those monsters, and there is no way, no right-thinking leaders of the organization will be happy with their students going to school and the schools are not safe for them. They are not returning back to their parents. So NAS is at the forefront of agitating for our campuses to be secure, for our schools to be secure. And on this particular issue, as we came on board, we took it up, we called for movements. Comments came in from almost all the 30 states of the country to Oyo State yesterday, where we joined the agitation with NUT and NLC and to the governor, and it was well broadcasted. We spoke and we condemned the act to the governor and seek for action and ask for the direct release of our students. Immediate release of our students. Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Let's now speak with Mr. Femi Adeyeye of Take It Back movement. Speak to us about the protest. We covered the protest from the very first day it happened in Oyo. How would you say the protest has fared? Do you believe that it has yielded some measure of impact? Because to be honest, the impact that we want to see is that the school, the pupils and the teachers are being reunited with their families. But Has the government spoken to you? Do you have any update for us in that regard?
Very much. Let me first of all say clearly that you've invited one of the persons who attacked peaceful protesters yesterday during our protests. You've invited the person, and I think it's the first port of call is to ask serious questions about this person who is in the studio right now, who attacked peaceful protesters at Bodija axis of Ibadan yesterday. I think that's the first place to start this conversation. But let me answer your question, because I believe that we would come back to it. The protest started yesterday, which you covered. I saw many of your reporters. I'm a family when it comes to News Central TV. So I saw them, we had different conversations, and the protest has continued to be peaceful. As I speak to you right now, there are also comrades out there who are also mobilizing this morning, because we will not allow these miscreants, these people who have now formed themselves to be the militia wing of the APC government under the code name of NANS, will not allow them to deter Nigerians from expressing their fundamental human rights, which includes that of expression. You cannot beat a child and then determine where the child would cry, or determine when the child will cry, or who the child will cry to. And that is what we are saying. We would enforce our rights to peaceful assembly and our rights to expression. As we speak, the governor has not addressed us. The governor has not addressed Nigerians. He only addressed his, party members, which this man in your studio is also one of their, their stalwarts. So they were the ones who had, a free day with the governor, who was addressing them, telling, the normal lip service of what they've been doing and all of that. But our own demands are clear. These children must be released. Our teachers must be released. Nigerians must be safe. And we are also demanding a probe into the security architecture of Nigeria, including the funds that were sent to this governor for security votes. Governor Seyi Makinde said he spent 7.1 billion to purchase 2 aircrafts. As I speak, the aircrafts are nowhere to be found. They said those aircrafts were purchased for surveillance. Till this moment, we've not seen any aircraft. In fact, his last statement that was attributed to him, I don't know if he was the one who said it. He said the aircraft are with the Nigerian Air Force in Lagos. This was an aircraft you claimed you bought since January last year. These are bunch of jokers who are running this country. And sincerely, in an ideal society, people like this should not be found anywhere near leadership. It is just because everything has become so scattered. Things have, capitulated to this point. That is why you can find people like this being platformed, even right here in your studio.
Thank you, Mr. Oriire. Mr. Hafiz, I want you to respond to this very damning allegations made by Mr. Adeyeye that you led a delegation of people that disrupted the peaceful protest in the Bodija area of Ibadan yesterday, the protest, the Take It Back movement protest, calling for the release of the students in captivity. How do you respond to these allegations?
First of all, I am the president of NAS, and I'm made bold to say it, that the leadership of NAS does not belong to any political party, even though their Take It Back movement has been linked to AAC or any political movement like that. And let me be clear that the leadership of NAS never led any attack on protesters. You understand? Yesterday, we were in Ibadan. After the meeting with the governor, if you should see the letter we circulated, we have a movement to Oriire local government, which we later went yesterday. And it was on our way to the local government. On our way to the local government, we got to the abduction, the place where they are doing the protest. We saw them, we turned back and went to the corner filling station to get fuel. It was a movement of about 40 vehicles like that. We are at the corner getting fuels. And you see, there is this hostility towards them, to the organization NAS. NAS don't join protest anyhow. We have a structure. And you cannot intimidate us to join your planned movements. It is not everybody that stand on the road or saying or speaking of constitutional nuisance that are really protesting, or they are really after the sources of what we are all clamoring for. So anybody can come online to throw away allegations if you believe you control the media space, or you believe you have the you have immediate power to speak or to control their regulation. It does not affect what we stand for. We are at the filling station getting fuel. Anybody can go to the corn oil in Ibadan there and ask questions and ask those that are selling fuel. We were there. Your protest ground where they were protesting was at the bus stop junction. Far from it was even a distance to the filling station. I was in the filling station myself. I was present at the scene, and they came. Some of the protesters came down to the filling station, the junction of the filling station in this Marua and on Marua. They came there. They saw us people. They saw the comrades, students, and they came. They were like, "You people, what are you doing? You are not joining protests. This and that. You are a useless organization." And it has become a norm for them at the takeover movement to be hostile towards the organization. We do not run the same organization. We have never come out to talk about the organization. But year in, year out, even from their president, from their leader, Oriire Shore, thank God this year he has not come out to declare another president for us. He has been doing that for the past 3-4 years. So they came fighting those comrades, fighting those boys. I saw them making noise. I came down from my vehicle. I stopped that first confrontation and altercation between the both of them. And I told the students to come back into the filling station. You can go, everybody, you are journalists, you can ask those people selling fuel there. Their protest ground was at the bus stop where the police are securing them. We are at the filling station. Our movement yesterday in Ibadan was supposed to start on Monday. Because of these different protests, I don't want the students to mix up with any of these protesters because we have a clear movement and advocacy we are coming to Oyo State to do. And we're buying our fuel, came there, fighting the students, saying all sorts of things that we're saying. Those is calling some of the students miscreants, just like what he has just done online. Provoking people unnecessarily. If you want to agitate, you agitate. If you want to protest, you protest. We have our own mandate. We have our plans to follow on this struggle. You have yours, which is you are protesting. Fine.
All right.
In the process of fighting those comrades, they started having fracas. My treasurer, the national treasurer of NAS, was wounded.
Okay.
The national director of travel and exchange, she was wounded in that fracas.
All right.
But because you can quickly come to the media yourself, you can quickly go to the media, you started blackmailing. And this is what we are saying. People should be truthful in what they are doing.
All right, Mr. Hafiz, please hold. We have some videos of what occurred at the protest ground. Let's take a look at these videos, and then we'll come back to continue the conversation with the both of you.
Where gone they come from? Nas. There's no Nas. Hey! What's happened? Despite ìdíwé à ń jà fún àwọn tí wọ́n jí kó so àwọn ọmọ ajúmọ̀ Ṣèyí Mákindé wá àtàkì wa so wọ́n gbà tọ́jú àtàkì wa ibi tó kálukú ti ń sá wọ́n yìnbọn sí everything.
All right, Mr. Hafiz, you've seen the video. I don't know if you heard in the background how some people were shouting Nans in the background. How do you respond to that? Because if you go on X is flooded with lots of videos of people, individual eyewitnesses sharing their account of these attacks. If you say that Nans did not carry out the attacks, then who did?
Even if you see the video, it is so clear. You understand? You will see them coming back from the angle. I don't even know this corner filling station in Bodija. You could see them coming back, all of them coming back returning from the filling station to the bus stop when the fight started. You understand? They left the protest ground, came to meet the comrade at the filling station there. That was what started, that was what caused the alteration. And before you know it, they started linking politicians to it. They know what happened. They know it was an argument, it was a fight that broke out between them and the student down there. So linking politicians to it, saying it is a normal blackmail, it is a normal way of turning A to Z. 18 narrations, even from the video. Most of them, they are shouting the last comment that we got. Did you hear any gunshot? Any of their videos that have been seen since yesterday, was there any gunshots? I came down from that filling station. I trekked to the junction, returned normalcy to that road. The police were there. I was at that scene. The student did not come to. You look at the video, look at the way they are running to their protest point. They were protesting at the junction of Bodija to the UI. But they left there to come to the filling station to meet the comrade, to spice them. Leave them miscreants. You are doing your protest, you have your aim to achieve. The leadership of NAS, we are en route Oriire local government that yesterday. All what we are doing there was to refill our vehicle with fuel and go to the local government. We never come to the protest ground. We never disturb them. We never condemn their activities. I don't know what will have caused them to
please,
come to...
Can I come in
all
now?
right,
Yes,
Mr. Fils,
thank
you so much. Mr. Fils, thank you so much. Mr. Deye, very quickly, while you react to that.
I won't...
Go on.
Bapti, I know you very well. And when I say I know you very well, I mean as a student activist in this country at the University of Lagos, I know I know the roles you guys used to play in things like this. Whenever the government finds out that there is an uprising against them, they mobilize you. And that was what happened with Makinde. You guys came in 2 days ago. And immediately I saw the video of your entry into a particular hotel to lodge. We know you people. I told my comrades, I said, this is what these guys have come to do, including Victor Olojede, who was the SA, who is the SA to the governor on student matters. You understand? So we know what you do. This, I cringe within me that Nance has actually degenerated to this level, because I cannot even, describe you as the Nance president, because Nance died a long time ago. He died after radical leftists left, the movement. What you have just described here is total falsehood. When we were mobilizing, immediately we got to that junction before the filling station you're talking about. There's a particular video. This video that was played, I sent it to the reporter of News Central. There are other videos where they started pointing and said, "Don't go after those Take It Back movement boys." That was what they were saying. They said, "Go after them, go after them." You and your boys, you were in the car. Olajede was pointing to the AAC chairman, Kayode Babayomi, that if you come close to this place, we will stab you. There are video evidences to this. The other guy, there was one who was wielding charm. There was another one who was shooting gun right there. You know all these things. You understand? But this is not the platform where we would, make all these things clear. When we're done with this, there will be a petition, because I know that even the police are in cahoots with you guys. Because yesterday, the only duty of the police on that ground was to monitor the attack. Police did not do anything. We went to report to the police that look at what is happening in front. The police were just looking. In fact, some of them were saying, don't you know those guys? They are the state boys. They were saying those things. And you know that what I'm saying is true. Any police officer who was on ground that day also know that what I'm saying is true. Everybody, and what we are saying is this: I will not start trading words with you.
Okay.
What we are going to say is that the time for this nonsense that you people used to
hold on. All right, Mr. Deye. All right, hold on. Gentlemen, please hold on.
To an end.
Gentlemen,
I gave you time to talk.
Gentlemen, please hold on.
Will be done to the IG and the petition will be
all right,
done
Mr.
to
Deye, hold on. Mr. Fils, please hold on. I want to ask a question. Just a question. I understand this is a heated moment, and ordinarily, this is exactly what we've seen, especially from the political aspect. But we're expecting that. Sorry, can you hold on, Mr. Deye? Please hold on. We're expecting that at least this is a movement that should be done in unison. Everybody is going after just one thing. But it seems that, Nance, you said you were going for a different thing entirely. You were not going to join to call for the release of students. You were going to local government to discuss with. I don't know what your discussion was about.
No, you did not get that.
So
We started our advocacy to demand for the release of those students.
Okay, that's fine. All right. So my question is it true? Is it true that the National Association of Nigerian Students, as a body, you are allowed to wield weapons? Are you allowed to have guns? Because we're waiting for the proof, if there's any
proof. Nobody is allowed to wield weapon in this country except from the security operatives.
So was there any shots fired from your end?
Tear gas.
Tear gas.
No, how do we have tear gas?
They shot guns. They came with machetes. You don't need
now
to
it is
be.
Machete. See, I want you to
both
check.
guns and machetes. I'm telling you what you came with. Both guns and machetes.
Gentlemen, is it safe to say that both of you? Is it safe to say that what should have been a united cause, where everyone involved should have been advocating for the release of these girls, has now become some sort of personal vendetta? Is there a backstory to it that you would like to share of the issues between NANS and the Take It Back movement?
Of the truth, as the president of NANS, I do my best, even the organization, to avoid anything that has to do with Take It Back movement. Because they are a set of people that like to provoke comrades. They will say all sorts of things. For years, even them and their president have been saying NANS is dead. NANS is dead. You claim NANS is dead. NANS has never involved in your struggle. We don't interfere in anything you are doing. Or you keep interfering on the affairs of the organization, year in, year out. If you did not declare a factional president this year, you will call the president of NAS a old president. Since we did our election, every media space have congratulated and have announced the leadership of NAS, except from the Sahara reporters. But yesterday,
we know better.
No balancing of news.
It is because we know better. We know that you are not a student. It is because we know that you are not a student.
At this point in time, I would like to.
Yes, there's been a huge accusation.
And let's not deviate from the reasons why we came here. We're all young Nigerians. I'd like to speak, please, Mr. Adeyeye. If you don't mind, please, gentlemen, please, I would like to speak at this point.
For peace to be in the country,
can our technical team please do something about it?
It is because our reporters know better. We know that you are state boys.
Gentlemen, can you please maintain some decorum on television, or we'll be forced to end this conversation? Thank you. Now, the question, gentlemen. Can you please both recognize the fact that you both represent organizations and you're not doing your organization well with this exchange on national television? Please maintain some decorum on TV. Thank you. The question now that we want to ask is, with these issues now that are on the table, I mean, there's so many issues on the table, the question is, how do we go forward? What's the way forward? Because the concern is to be able to, as a joint body, mount protests, mount pressure rather on the government to ensure that these students, these pupils, and their teachers are being returned. At what point do we set aside politics and personal interest? But also, I want you, Mr. Afiz, to clarify an issue, because he's raised it and he's not the first person to raise it, as to your background as the NANS president. There have been allegations that the NANS president is not a student. Can you maybe lay that to rest one time on our show?
Thank you very much. You see, you cannot become a NAS president without being a student. Not just being a student. The constitution of NAS is clear. You will have your CGPA. I can ask you, the new central, to write to my school, Olusegun University of Science and Technology, to ask for my informations. You understand? Year in, year out, there have always been this type of allegation against the president of NAS from this organization. So we don't care. We have our committee. We had an election this year, the most peaceful. We had a PhD students that contested the election. We have master students that contested the election. Every one of them, the committee goes to their school to get their details. Even the security operative goes to their school to get their details.
All right, so just to clarify.
I am a student of Olusegun University of Science and Technology. Anybody can write to the school. Do your investigation.
What are you studying and what level are you?
That.
What are you studying and what level are you?
This one is a
I'm
civil
studying
servant.
Can you please allow him
postgraduate student
answer?
of
Thank you very
education.
much. What level are you in and what are you studying?
I'm a postgraduate student of education.
Okay. All right. So thank you very much for highlighting that. You're a postgraduate student of your school, which you mentioned earlier.
Olusegun University.
Yes. Now, the question is, how do we move forward from here, gentlemen? You both are representative of the youth. The youth are hoping for a transformation in our country. Young people have been asked to be brought to the table. Young people are fighting to be brought to the table. But if young people are fighting within themselves, how do we hope? What is the hope for the youth? If you both, who are faces representing, our Nigerian youth, how do we hope to go forward from this?
You see, I think we make that mistake every time to think, okay, because everybody is young, they are wise. Because you're young, you can understand issues. Age is not a political ideology. It's just it's just indices. All of us here, in the next 10 years, we will not be under that bracket of being a youth anymore. So let's be clear. We've had youths in this country to rode on that. Let the youths come together, let the youth have a seat on the table, and then they became governors, someone like Yaya Bello, and you can know, the rest is history, one of the worst performing governors in this country. So being young is not a free ticket to leadership. What we are saying is that if you want to, speak for people, if you want to lead, you must be ideologically grounded. And that is what we are saying at the Take It Back movement. So moving forward from here is to say that this morning a petition will be submitted to the Commissioner of Police in LLA. I've been calling the IG. I used to have his number, but maybe when these guys become big men, they change their phone numbers, but I will get it. And the petition is to address what happened yesterday. It will not be swept under the carpet, I must promise you, Bapti. Another thing is to say that the protest, as I speak right now, has continued at Iwo Road. Lagos State will continue the protest until these children return safely. We would not rest. If they like, they should come with all the attacks. This was how NSA started. They started with thugs. But when the people resisted the thugs, they had no choice than to run back into their covens. And this is how movements grow. If the Tinubu regime is not ready to accede to the demands of our protest, it should be ready for Occupy Aso Rock by Friday.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Fiz, what's the plan for NANS as the president to get these kids out of captivity? Do you have any planned protests?
Thank you very
what's
much.
What's your approach?
Just like I said, we have a scheduled program of activities in the states, and part of it is what we started yesterday. We joined the NUT movement, and we also moved to the government house to show our dissatisfaction about our students that were kidnapped. And from there, we moved to the local government where the students were kidnapped. We are at the school. We addressed the president from the school, and we told him that it is time to make bold decisions on the security structure of this country. It is time to make schools to be safe, because everybody will water down any form of achievement or anything the government is doing if we are not secured in this country. It is not only in Oyo State. Students that kidnap in Borno State, students that kidnap in Ekiti, students that kidnap almost everywhere in this country. And if it should continue, then we cannot say we are safe, because students are not just the target. We are all the targets. We have been victims. Our friends have been kidnapped. And that has came out that this time around, we are not backing down. We are putting enough pressure on the government, but we are also being careful that by putting pressure on the government, we are also not putting these monsters at advantage. We are also not putting them at advantage of negotiating with the government and making government to agree on negotiations that are not reasonable with them. Because if these people are empowered, if they keep making money and they keep benefiting from this insecurity, they will still be coming back to attack and to disturb us in this country. So we are out to support any process, any security operations that will put an end to this insecurity once and for all. Because it started from the north, now they are in the south. If they can kidnap people in Oyo State, then which means Lagos itself is not safe.
And just, as you wrap up, I want to respond to something you've said. There are those who argue that there has been selective outrage in terms of the protest. Are you protesting for the Oyo students and teachers that were kidnapped. And is there as much outrage about that as well, as the Borno kidnappings, which happened on the same day as well? Because it feels like in a lot of the conversations, that is being sidelined.
That is the fact, because everybody are talking about just the Oyo State students. But we as NAS, we are not just talking about Oyo State students. As I'm speaking to you, after leaving Oyo State, we are going to Ekiti. We will go to Borno State. Because we have our plans, we are for all the Nigerian students and all the students that are in captivity to come out, and we will continue to pressurize the government. If it will lead us, we are not cowards. We know how to protest. We know how to. If we declare a total shutdown now, you will see all our comment on the highways, important highways. I have led protests to shut down the airports in this country.
Okay.
Doing national strike protests.
All right.
So we have consultation before confrontation in our organization. We are consolidating. We are meeting security operating. We are mounting pressure. And we are not against any organization that decide that, okay, they are protesting now on the streets. We know why we don't quickly declare and put our students out there. Because when we do, it go out of hand sometimes. And we are not even scared of that. But at this stage, we are following up with the security. We are seeing the response with them. We are listening and we are monitoring what every one of them are doing. The pressure is there.
All right.
But we also don't want to put those monsters that we should all come together to fight at advantage against the state Nigeria.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Fees. Thank you so much, Mr. Deyeye, whether we like it or not, it's about doing all you can, and we can see you're putting in the efforts regardless of what's happening. The concerns are indeed everywhere. Every parent, every child, every Nigerian is wondering what the next steps are. And seeing both of you, regardless of the squabbles, trying as much as possible to do something tells a lot. We want to say thank you so much for speaking with us. And we hope that when we're off camera, as both of you will put a call through and try to settle your squabbles outside the...
Because at the end of the day, we're all pushing for the same thing, aren't we?
Thank you. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us. Thank you, Mr. Deyeye. Thank you, Mr. Fees. Thank you. We appreciate it.
You're welcome.
All right. Breakfast Central is what you're watching. We'll go on a quick break. When we come back, we will touch base with some states, especially with the current situation of the country. Plus, there seems to be some Ghana, UK, gathering in terms of partnerships. And we have more stories to look into. This is Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and the Department of State Services have launched separate investigations into the alleged unauthorized access and disclosure of voter registration records following a social media post by Larry Olayinka, spokesperson to the FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike. Olayinka had shared screenshots purportedly showing the voter registration details of Nollywood actor and House of Representative aspirant Emeka Ike, sparking concerns about the security of INEC's continuous voter registration database. INEC said preliminary findings from its audit trail showed there was no external cyber attack, hacking incident, or unauthorized external access to its ICT infrastructure. The Commission stated that investigators had identified the user account through which the information was accessed and had begun questioning relevant personnel.
According to INEC, the voter record was assessed using valid credentials assigned to officials participating in the ongoing nationwide voter registration exercise. However, the information was allegedly disclosed without authorization. The Commission stressed that the incident appears to involve a specific voter record and does not indicate a compromise of the personal data of Nigeria's more than 90 million registered voters. The electoral body said investigations are focusing on whether internal access control protocols were breached and has pledged full cooperation with security agencies. INEC also warned that anyone found culpable would face appropriate legal action. Joining us now is the Executive Director of Paradigm Initiative, Gbenga Sheson. Good morning and thank you very much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. I wish not under this weird circumstances of yet another breach of the national database.
Absolutely. I wish it was different circumstances as well. But if we're saying that voter data was accessed using legitimate credentials but disclosed without authorization, does this constitute a data breach under Nigerian data protection laws? And what liabilities could arise for both the individual as well as institution involved? And can the institution really dissociate itself from the action of its staff?
Okay, so let's start from the institution. INEC, this is not the first time INEC is losing data. This is not the first time INEC will be admitting on the record that something has gone wrong, because what they did with that press statement yesterday was to basically say, yes, we agree. Our staff had access and went beyond authorization. So there are actually two laws that have been broken. There is a cybercrime law that has been broken because you're not allowed to go beyond your level of access in systems, IT systems. That's one. The second is the data protection law, where personal data cannot be shared in the manner that it was shared. So there is a principle that Nigeria subscribed to called purpose limitation. It means that when you access data, it must be used for the purpose for which it was accessed. That data was accessed, that data was used legally, and then the team member or the staff at INEC then shared this information with an external person with a malicious intent. But of course, this is not the first time this is happening. So to answer your first question, INEC is culpable. Second question is that two laws have been broken. And clearly, INEC has been here before. If they are really serious about 2027 elections and their integrity, there is still the issue of the chairman's Twitter account where they conducted an internal evaluation and concluded as judge, jury, and executioner that they are not guilty. And now there is this data breach, which is not the first time that this is happening. And I can assure you, if this happened in this case, then when they check their systems, they will find more cases of people going beyond authority to do the wrong thing. Of course, they know who this person is. So what are they waiting for again?
All right. I mean, they know who this person is. INEC is now seen as a very critical organization before Nigerians because everyone is asking questions. Barely just 2 months, 60 days, going to about 70 days. INEC hasn't cleared the first challenge they had, and here they go again. But I mean, you're very conversant with technology, backends, and so on. My question is this. Let me just use the basic SEOs that a lot of Nigerians know about. It is said that even on your social media handle, you can authorize the person to have access, the person who has access to a certain level. For instance, you can, as an administrator, you can give access to someone to only be able to view certain things and not view all. Yeah. But with what we saw, going to the back end, not just to see the numbers, but being able to log into someone's data and gather all information. Doesn't this show that this was not done by a small fry in INEC, but certainly by someone who is very high in authority?
Or a waka pass.
Exactly.
It is not a waka pass scenario. It is a deliberate. And I mean, before they said it, we all knew how this happened. Anybody who works in tech knows that there are certain levels of, you don't even need to work in tech. There are certain levels of access that reveal certain levels of information. And it is always on the person who is the administrator. So right now, and I'm going to name names, the head of ICT at INEC has questions to answer. It's either he is incompetent or he's culpable. And I'm deliberately saying this. And, they've been there before with NIMSI asking me to come to court and explain myself, and I'm happy to do that again. That head of ICT needs to explain how someone got access and use this information, and he is aware of the trail and nothing has been done because there are rules. There are rules to exceeding your access. So first of all, the question is, has this person been cut off from access? Secondly, has this person been suspended? Third question is, they said the Secret Service is working on this. What exactly is the Secret Service doing in this case, for God's sake? So they want to check if the minister was the one that directed his aide to go and ask someone at INEC. So like I said, the head of ICT, and it goes to the chain of command. The person who is in charge. We've seen a statement from Professor Kuna, explaining what exactly happened. And I'm glad that he didn't lie about it to say, oh, it is any kind of access. Anybody can have that kind of access. Of course, nobody can have that kind of access. So it is very clear that the head of ICT is either incompetent or is called people, or is under duress not to take action. So if the head of ICT is under duress because, they say at times that it's beyond my pay grade. If it is beyond his pay grade, then at the end of the day, the person we need to ask questions is the person who is in charge of this institution. If Paradigm Initiative today suffers such a problem, it is on me, the buck stops on my table to answer questions. So the buck stops on the table of the INEC chairman again, Prof, to answer questions about this problem. Does it mean someone needs to be fired? Absolutely. Does it mean someone needs to feel the full weight of the law? And the reason for this is very simple. If this person is not punished, it will happen again. And I know for a fact that as I speak right now, the Data Protection Commission has also become aware of this scenario, and they have their own role to play in terms of making sure that INEC systems are audited to be sure that levels of access are not compromised. This is 2026 May. This is a pre-play of what is going to happen next year. People's information being shared to shame them? Come on.
Now, I like where you ended, people's information being shared to shame them, and that's what we see happen. And in fact, that information, as we speak, is still on the handle of the individual that shared it, Larry Olayinka, SSA to the FCT. Minister, is he guilty in any way, since his defense is it wasn't the one that accessed it, it was only shared to him? Does he have questions to answer with law enforcement agents as they carry out their investigations?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I think he's just being silly, and this is not his first time of playing such kind of politics. So he's got many questions to answer. He's got questions to answer for the cybercrime law. He's got questions to answer from the data protection law. He's got questions to answer from the rules of procedure of the civil service. There are many questions he has to answer. But beyond all that, it is that he needs to answer a question about continuous impunity. Access to public information is one thing. Misuse of access to public information. He can claim, if he's got a good lawyer, and I'm sure that his minister boss will give him a good lawyer, he will be able to claim maybe he found this piece of paper with this information because somebody sold granite with it. But
you're giving him expo.
He's got free advice from me for that one. But the question he still needs to answer is, when you saw this information, you took the information and you shared it. Unfortunately, you've now broken another set of laws of sharing the information. This is intent. This is action. And this is, unfortunately, you've done some harm to the person. And beyond that, is also demonstrated. And by the way, I'm glad he did this, because if he wasn't the one who did this, if it was done by anyone else who is not a loud person that just shouts all the time, then we may not have known. But thankfully, he's the kind of person who does the wrong thing, shouts about it, and does not expect to answer questions. So it's good he did this and shouted about this. And now we know that there is a problem, and that problem is a template. This is not an anomaly. This is the program, people. This is what happens all the time. Don't forget the time when the Nigerian Immigration Service shared the passport information of a citizen who was there to pick up their passport. Don't forget the times when information about people, my information had been shared before. A payment that was made to me by, for a government service that I did many years ago. How did they get that information from the bank? How did they get it from the government agency? This is what they do. Information was shared about Enough is Enough Nigeria that should only have been accessible to anyone who was a Corporate Affairs Commission. This is the program. This is not, an anomaly. This is how they do it. It is impunity. One of the reasons that this impunity continues is the weakness of our Data Protection Commission. And I know that my friends there will not be happy that I'm saying this again, but the weakness of the Data Protection Commission is shown in every situation where data is abused and people get a slap on the wrist. In fact, in some cases, they fine people and then the fine is reversed. So in this case, I ask 3 institutions to do their job. Number 1 is the police. The police is always trigger happy, always very, eager to go and pick people from Lagos and take them to Ekiti State at the bid, doing the bidding of powerful people. Somebody has now done something wrong and has, gone against cybercrime law. Do your job, the police. This is not, SSS can continue what they are invited to do by INEC, but the police has an obligation here. Second institution is INEC itself. You have admitted on the record that somebody within your system has, again, as was alleged before and proved, accessed information and gone against the principle of purpose limitation to share that information with a malicious intent. And the third institution is the Data Protection Commission. I don't know what you're waiting for. This is a case of abuse. There are 90 million people plus who are voters, including myself, whose information is at the mercy of INEC. Is this how we're going to do it? You're going to share my information and say that, oh, Benga is not going to go for APC. He's not going to vote for this party. So let's just share his information. How do we know that an institution that gives access to this kind of information is not going to deliberately manipulate information such that people will get to polling units and be told that their record is not there? How do we trust INEC? Unfortunately, they've lost our trust right now. Maybe they can still redeem themselves anyway.
That's a valid question that you've raised in terms of how should we trust INEC, even though INEC does not believe that. The fact that one voter's information was compromised is a yardstick to judge that the rest of voters' information was compromised. But that being said, let's talk about the person whose information has now been put public. In a bid to shame him, his information was made public by Larry Olayinka, and I'm speaking about the actor turned politician, Emeka Ike. What would you advise Emeka Ike in this instance? He's called this political rascality and has threatened to sue. Do you believe that he has a strong case? What would your advice to him be?
Very strong case. There's something about politicians who used to be actors, by the way, and drama, but this is a good one. Emeka Ike has a very good chance, not to help himself, but to help the rest of Nigerians by making this a public interest case. 2 laws, and this is free advice to his lawyers. 2 laws have been broken. At the very minimum, 2 laws have been broken. First is the Cybercrime Act. Access to information by that staff at INEC and exceeding authority. That is abuse of law. Second law is data protection law. That person is guilty, and also, what's his name? The aide to the minister who was shouting on Twitter, is also guilty. So Emeka Ike should not just threaten to sue, because, Nigerians love to threaten to sue. Please don't just threaten to sue. Go to court. If that's what they say all the time, go to court, right? So go to court and demand justice. Because right now, this information was shared with a malicious intent. And by the way, if I were Emeka Ike, I probably won't work again for the rest of my life, because I will be suing this institution and the individuals for a fair amount of money. And it's a slam dunk case, because it's now public. The alleged criminal has himself gone online to show the exhibit. So you just need to print his own timeline and present in court as evidence. I don't know who advised him to do that, but I'm glad he did.
Interesting advice there. We're going to maybe cut out this part of the interview and play it tomorrow, because Emeka Ike will be joining us on the show, and then we can share your advice with him. So maybe when he makes more money, he will cut some for you inside there. But there's also the angle of the judiciary. Lately, you know that the judiciary has been under scrutiny, and the question of public trust for or against the institution is something that we can't gloss over. So when or if he takes this to court, how certain are you? And I'm asking this because many Nigerians, from the reactions we've seen on social media, have pointed out the fact that the person in question is SA to one of the most politically protected ministers in the country. So
Yeah.
do you have 100% faith in the ability for this to play out the way that it should?
The good news is that he doesn't only have access to a Nigerian court, he also has access to a court that is not controlled by the person who they say has all the judges in his pocket, allegedly. Guess what? I cannot guarantee that this case will be won. But what I can guarantee is that this case, if it is filed, provides opportunity for us to have precedent in this case. It provides opportunity for this issue to become public and for the courts to listen. If he loses, he can appeal, and this case can go all the way. But beyond Nigerian courts, Nigeria is a party to the ECOWAS court. In some cases, Parliament has gone to court on Nigeria shutting down Twitter, and lawyers and judges have done their best and cases have been thrown out. And then we went to the ECOWAS court and then we got judgment. But the reality is that when you go to court, you don't only go to court to win the case. You go to court to set out the matter before the judges. And by the way, it is not every judge who gets this case that can be influenced. There are judges within the system, and I know, the judiciary, the legislature, the executive, we talk about impunity, we talk about the fact that many of them don't do the right thing, but I still have faith in the system because we still go to court and win some cases. We took some data protection cases to court last year and we won. So it is possible. How sure am I he's going to win? I'm not very certain he's going to win. But how sure am I that he has access to other courts? I'm 100% sure that he can pursue this case. And if he feels that it is being tampered with in Nigeria, which of course everybody is concerned that this minister doesn't lose cases because he tries to influence and things like that. But there is the ECOWAS court where we can then go to lay the issues bare and present the facts before the ECOWAS judges, who are not all Nigerians. And in fact, there may be no Nigerian judge who will be sitting on the case. So that then removes the influence of this alleged pocketer of judges.
That we've gotten to a stage where we even have to second guess judges and see if they would do what is right or not. That's the state of affairs in our dear country today. But let's talk about INEC and the implications for this and public trust. I mean, INEC is spending 800 billion, almost close to £1 trillion naira on elections next year. And I mean, that's not small change. What are the broader implications for public trust when INEC or the government databases appear vulnerable to internal misuse, even when no external hacking has occurred? Between now and the elections next year, if you could advise Professor Joash Shemupito, what steps does he need to take? What can that institution do to restore public confidence in INEC and ensure that that I truly means independent?
A few things that they can do immediately. First of all, they've done the right thing by not lying again. The previous time, and I did say this to my friends at INEC to say, listen, you didn't need to lie about creating an internal assessment of the chairman's minister and the chairman's Twitter handle. But this time they've come out to say, yes, somebody went beyond authority to do the wrong thing, and we will make sure that it's seen to a reasonable conclusion. That's the first thing, and they've done it. The second thing is to make sure that the right thing is done this time. INEC has lost data many times and they did nothing about it. So this time, do something about it, redeem yourself. Convince Nigerians that you are not a puppet in the pockets of a politician. I like the sound of those speeches. But anyway, the reality is that INEC needs to do that. And also, INEC needs to start literally a roadshow in building trust. What do I mean? Open your doors, virtually, physically, to Nigerians. Invite them to come and ask their questions about why they don't trust you. If I were INEC, I would do this for one reason, because that is the way you get free advice on what people don't trust you on. People will, I mean, there's nothing wrong with an INEC doing a town hall meeting virtually on issues of data integrity, on issues of trust. I doubt that they will. But if they do, which is really good for them, they will make a list of 1,000,001 things that need to be done. And then they will be able to then share information with Nigerians between now and November, way before the general elections, to basically say, this is the reason why you didn't trust us. We have done this about it. You said our chairman's Twitter handle tweeted according to the mandate commands. Well, maybe he did, but that was then. Now is not partial, and we can prove it.
Mr. Shesa.
When this happened, we've done the right thing. We've gone to, the extent of inviting the Secret Service, the police, and everybody to.
All right, Mr.
Do everything they
Shesa.
should do.
We're out of time, actually. In 30 seconds, if you can. The fact that Larry Olayinka still has that tweet up, does it send a message?
Obviously, he's basically saying, go to hell, do the worst, and nothing will happen to me or my principal. And I'm afraid he's right. Unfortunately.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us, and thanks for your time. We'll continue to follow through with this story. Let's see what the SSS will come up with. Let's see what INEC in itself will come up with. We do know that if it were to be someone else, maybe we would be seeing them in handcuffs now, or better still, at the offices with pictures circulating that they've been invited.
I know that I had said final question, but I think it's important to touch on this very quickly. Is the Minister of the FCT expected to speak on this as well?
You know him, he will speak on it. He loves talking to the media.
But is the APC too expected to speak on this? Because they are, apart from the fact that they're the incumbents, they're also part of the electoral system.
The APC practices robust silence, so don't expect anything from the APC. But the minister loves his own voice, so he's going to speak about this and abuse everybody. I want to be proved wrong that maybe Nigeria has changed.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right. We'll go on a very quick break. When we come back, Breakfast Central continues. Please stay with us this morning.
You're watching Breakfast Central on News Central. Time for the front pages of the newspapers. You can call in now. The phone numbers will be there on the screen. So dial right away. Let's know your reactions on some of the big stories, major ones that we're about to take. We're starting off with the Punch newspaper, which definitely is punchy this morning.
Come on now.
On a Wednesday. Ready to go. On the front page of the Punch newspaper, we're steaming hot. School children abduction, Oyo protests go nationwide. NAS moves on state police, so they say. Many more stories. Northwest IDPs near 800,000 amid killings. That's a report. And so safe officers in police net over Ogunman's death. That was a major story as well. Democracy Day, Tinubu to address National Assembly. June 12 is the date. Private sector folds 100,000 naira minimum wage proposal. That conversation is one we should have during the week. If they increase the minimum wage to 100,000 naira, what does it mean? We have our guest in-house who joins us. Ladies and gentlemen, the delectable, the man who speaks tough, the one who holds no bar, and he's ready to speak again today. His name is Mr. Dotun Ojon. Hey. At some point, when Dotun came, Benga was asking me, but he was saying, I've been loyal to your faction. Don't let this man take my job. I said, don't worry. It's Olive. We will find a way.
Yes, can't you see his appearance?
You know, the other day, people were complaining, or people were talking about the cap.
Oh, yes.
So I decided to say, okay, don't let me go to Abuja. Let me just
have the logo. No, but I think...
You know, that's how I start. Before you know it, exactly. Only that I will not be able to go.
Please ring this bell. Let's calm down.
Okay, let's get into the meat. Let's start what we have come here to do. At one, at two. Okay, on a more serious note, the Punch newspaper.
Front page of the Punch newspaper.
I want to talk about that big story and the headline there. And the headline says, Oyo protests go nationwide, National Assembly moves on state police. And the question I want to ask you is not necessarily about Oyo's protest. Yeah. The question is this. First of all, there was a kidnapping on the same day in two different geopolitical zones. Yes. We had the kidnapping in Oyo State. We had the kidnapping in Borno State. First, school kidnapping after Chibok since 2014. Would you say that we're paying as much attention to Borno as we are to Oyo? And if you don't think so, why is that? Okay, so sincerely speaking, I think we are not paying attention to Nigeria the way we should pay attention to Nigeria. Often when people are unable to do something for themselves,
they resort to prayer. And the concept of prayer is to invite God to the situation. But while people were praying, God answered them by giving them a government. So the government you have is the answer to your prayer, because, like I've repeatedly said, that the concept of God is the concept of government. It is doing for the people what they cannot do for themselves. And anytime government goes on recess, you always have lamentation in the community, which is exactly what we have. And if I want to tweak that a bit, I would say that anytime governance goes on recess, you know, literally we talk about National Assembly recess, but when you take it more seriously, you discover that priority will give you the direction that your future will go. I think governance has been on recess because of extreme politicking. So to answer your question, I think we've not paid the necessary attention to Nigeria, and we have actually misplaced our priority as a people. We're talking about who becomes what, even within the crisis. And I think it's about time we stopped wishing those people who didn't die well to rest in peace, because that's what we continually do. I think we are not paying attention to the country. Yeah.
Why are we not paying attention to the country? Do you think it has anything to do with politics? Why does it seem that there's no sense of urgency? And when we have a crisis situation, they recycle the same talking points. State policing, the IGF submitted his reports. He said it would take about 60 months to implement. And state policing, forest guard were on top of the situation. It's almost like they have a condolence template and a reaction template where they plug in the same stories, and we're supposed to fall for it. Something needs to change. At what point are we going to say enough is enough and, you know, take the fight to them? Because we're still doing the same thing over and over again. They say insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So what needs to change? I think we've reached that point where, I mean, personally for me, I feel anything after this is just lip service, because you've given them enough benefit of the doubt. When are we going to, what needs to be done to change the situation?
I think commitment. You know, I repeatedly said that if the bandits, the Boko Haramists, everyone we're fighting, if they have access to what we have access to, by now they will be ruling from Lagos. But the difference is that these people are committed to their trade. They are committed to their conviction.
But they're not bigger than the Nigerian state.
They are not. That's the problem of commitment. So the issue is that the Nigerian state is not committed to solving this problem. And the commitment is not just about rolling guns across the community. It's about letting the community, first of all, know that we are fighting this. A lot of people in Nigeria today do not believe that their government is actually fighting for them. And we must get to a point where we will get to that point. All they see is politics. Even at the level of the kidnap, you heard what the former governor of Ekiti State said, trying to point an accusing finger at the governor of Oyo State. So I think even within our crisis, we still prioritize politics over the need for us to govern. And this is Nigeria. May we not get to a point where people will take over this country from our own hand. And I think we are gradually getting to that point, because, let me cite, in the entire Southwest, in day before yesterday, in Abeokuta, there was panic around the community. People went to school to withdraw their children. That happened in some part of Lagos. It happened in some part of Oriire in Ondo State. So it tells you that what they are doing, they are almost getting to the point of achieving the panic they want to create within the community. And it's so sad. So we are not going to be watching them and think we are helpless. You know, this helplessness was what the Senate president expressed the other day and said, oh, this is happening because of the election. And I thank God now that it's become very clear that if we do not do something as urgently as possible, even after the 2027, those who might win the election may not have a grant to rule the country. So I pray that we get to that point of conviction, of commitment, of seriousness to the Nigerian project, not becoming, you see, I was talking about in 2017, I actually came up with the concept of the character of leadership, the component of the concept, the component of the character of leadership. And one of the components that I talked about is humility. Now, humility is not dobalism. It's not what, humility in leadership is ability to sacrifice your personal vision for the collective goal, the greater good of the community, including your ambition. including whatever it is that is your mindset. If you know that this will not serve the greater good of the people, please put it aside. Let us be committed to our community first. Let's make our community safe. If you were a father or you have somebody that is as little as 2, 3, you continue to imagine how those guys will survive in captivity, how they will come out and be normal again in a community where nobody pays attention. One commissioner of police was saying the other time that he had gone to stop a robbery case, and his own very eye, about 3 or 4 of his men were killed. He had to take himself for rehabilitation because the Nigerian government never paid attention to him. So in such community, what becomes of even this heat when they come out of captivity? So we need to just get serious. The solution may be very simple. It may be get serious. We are not serious enough.
I also think we need special courts to fast-track cases of kidnappings, and the death sentence should be applied immediately. We shouldn't allow these cases to drag on. If you're caught in the act, just do the time. There's no doing the time.
You must ask
just
what
face
the mindset of those in power is concerning these people. It is mindset that leads to rehabilitation. You get Boko Haramists, you are rehabilitating them. It's a product of your mindset. So what is the mindset? And the truth is that nobody can outperform his mindset. So I think we are just caught between ethnicity and religion, putting crime in between the two. And any crime that is being fueled by ethnicity or religion, you continue to see the crime in the community because people have soft spot for some of those crimes. Even the Boko Haramism, the banditry we are talking about, there are many people in government today that I suspect have soft spot for them.
We've heard senior government officials tell us that they are brothers, haven't we?
Yeah.
And they have families.
Let's take another story very quickly. I want us to look at this one. I want your thoughts on INEC DSS probe voter data leak. This article raises fears. I'm sure you're aware of the SSA to the FCT minister who gained access to the back end of Nigeria's most, if not one of the most, let's put it that way, important non-governmental affiliated organization by its name independent, INEC. I don't know if you're following that story.
I am being careful to say some of the things that I know, but let me put it this way. I don't know whether we've ever talked about police before and say, oh, they're extremely corrupt. I don't know whether you've ever had that. Listen, I was here. No, yes, I was here the other day. And I was saying that the agencies of government that I've been privileged to work with, if you're privileged to work with them, you will see policemen are sent. It is that bad. In Nigeria today, if you can throw coins around, you are going to have access to the office of the president. Office of the president. And when this government came on board and they were doing appointment, my friend was a victim. Was a victim of trying to get appointment in the government, and he paid money. In fact, at a point, one of them was in Abuja. He was paying hotel accommodation, what do they call that thing, every day. Until a point, he had to come back to Lagos to send one of his vehicles to settle the hotel because money must exchange to get anything. And if you have abundance of it, have you ever wondered why some senators, after winning election, they go to the Senate. You don't get to see them until after 3.5 years, and they come back to win election. Money has become our mission, and greed has become our God. Corruption has become our culture, that when you have little money to throw around, you can get to the back end of President Tinubu's room. And that is the situation of things in Nigeria today. I am not surprised. I have worked with people within and without some of these agencies of government, and I just sigh. Let me tell you, yesterday, somebody was asking me about the issue of insecurity. And he said, who will solve this problem? I said, those people that are supposed to solve it, they are now on the road begging for money from Lagos to Oriire. The first day I saw a road safety person collect money years back, I couldn't breathe very well because I used to hold them in a very high esteem. My heart was beating very fast. I never imagined. But now, sir, your military, they are mounting checkpoint not to do anything, but to say, good morning, sir. It's early this morning. What do you chop remain? That is the country we are in. And so when I see a story like this, for some of us that have related with some agencies of government, I just laugh that you don't know the extent that money can take you in this country. I'm not considering any of my data safe once I put it in a public safe place, either in registration as NIN or even in INEC or any place. Once somebody gets money and is in power, he can get anything he wants.
problem. Okay. That's a sad one. There's another story there. Before we move to the other paper, I want us to look at this. Discos earned 600 billion naira in 3 months, despite blackout. But I don't want us to take that, so I want us to take this one. Private sector falls 100,000 naira minimum wage proposal. The labor union is asking that the monthly...
The minimum
wage, I beg your pardon, should be reviewed upwards to 100,000 naira. Some people say it should have been 1 million naira. But experts are saying no. 100,000 naira would only cause hyperinflation again within the society. Because those who know, oh, your salary is no longer 70, it's now 100. Chinedu, Uche, or Blessings, not Musugudo, yeah. Please increase that price of the bread. They now have enough money to buy.
Yeah. So the template, our economic template from people to government has been very wrong. And it's the first time you want to go on Christmas, and transport fare is moving without a cost from 12,000 to 32,000. Every celebration put burden on you. Why? Because we have a faulty attitude of always want to get something out of our celebration. It's the same thing that will happen with minimum wage. In 2014, we were having conversation, the UN was having conversation that I was part of about poverty. And the agreement on October the 17th of 2014 was that more resources should be allocated to people living in abject poverty. 100,000. Will 100,000 mean more resources? Let's break it down. Who are those people who live in abject poverty? I think people who live on less than $2 per day. Will 100,000 take you out of that? So even if people get 100,000 with the current reality of our economy, with 1,320 exchange rate or 1,300, it still means that people are still in abject poverty. So how do we solve the problem? It means that MMM cannot solve problem. MMM is more money misery. So when you pay more money to people, it cannot solve the problem. What is going to solve the problem is make life at least reasonably comfortable for them. And what do I mean? Let's start from public transport. I have said it, I have redefined the concept of prosperity on this program before. That is not when people have money and they are able to buy cars and drive around town. It's when public officials can take to public transport. It means that your public transport is efficient enough. Let's begin with housing. I have spoken, Olive will remember that you were even talking that maybe I will get appointment in housing. I have talked about it repeatedly, that governments must intervene in a way that housing does not become a problem for the people, putting it side by side with what they earn. So I am not just going to say I'm not in support of the 100,000 minimum wage, but I am saying that any approach of government or governance that will not solve the problem of poverty, I am not in support of it. And more money has proven over the time. If more money can solve problem, this government has taken more loan than any government that I know. Most of our problems should have been solved. It means that we need fiscal responsibility as a government and individual economy policy that will favor both the micro and macro economies. We need to work on our inflation. We must not submit our economy into the hand of people who will just make rash decisions. These are things that I think we should talk about.
I'm glad you've highlighted the things we need to do. And it would be nice, since we're talking about governance and things to improve the lives of people, to also talk about this new fad and this new craze for flyovers. How much does it change in the lives of people? Because governors these days, I'm not sure, maybe they came to Lagos and they saw 1 or 2 flyovers, and it seems to be the latest.
Lagos is a flyover.
You need to see the passion and which they talk about the flyovers in Oyo State, in Delta, in different parts of the country. What is it with governance and flyovers?
Do you want to know the truth? It is the best and the simplest way to steal money. What do I mean? Former governor of Oyo State, late Rotimi Akeredolu, did the first flyover in Oyo State. It is just about 100 meters. 100 meters, yeah. That cost the government 5.8 billion at that point, close to 6 billion. His counterpart in Osun, an APC government, we did an investigation and discovered that they have the same soil texture, the same situation, the same environment, did a flyover of roughly about maybe 200 meters, but I know it's just the one we had in Ondo was half the price. He did it for about 3.5 billion. And the 100 meter we did in Ondo State cost, and even the 3.something billion in Osun, still has some question mark on it. So the best way that people steal money, they know that to construct 100 kilometers of road, you know, it will take them time. But bridge can be 100 meters. It's the shortest MMM. Money will come and everybody goes home.
And then it's something that is visible that everybody can see.
Yeah, and that everybody can see. And you know, there's a number to it. In Lagos now, there's no flyover you want to build that you can attach number to. But in all of those states, you can say, oh, this is the 6th flyover that I've built.
Because we've lost count.
This is the 7th, this is the 8th, and it was not built by the state anyway. Most of them were built by the military government and the federal government. So this is what people are saying. People are pursuing legacy where none should exist.
Airports.
People are pursuing legacy where none should exist. The crime that we are talking about today in some of these states, if we had spent security votes, you know, I keep talking about it. People take, when money was money, we were hearing some of those figures and you will have a headache. 500 million every month for security vote. That's when money was money. Not now. When you hear the number now, you hear billions, and it doesn't make any sense to you. So I think we should get to a point where we should pursue legacy where one exists. And it's not a flyover. Democracy is the government of the people. And at the end of the day, what makes democracy worth it is the enhancement of the life of the people after you might have left office. When Dr. Mimiko, Olusegun Mimiko, was governor of my state in Ondo State, you could tell that the first 4 years of his administration, he understood what the concept of democracy is. And he did it. In fact, there was this ABA program that he had then that Tricycle go into the uttermost part of the community to take pregnant women. And when you get to the mother and child hospital, your wife may be here, and the wife of an Okada man can be here with the same business. And he made us feel that we were in democracy, though he derailed his government after the 4 years. But that's another story. But the first 4 years was a government that everybody was similar, including the United Nations, was proud that this is democracy. And that's what the concept of democracy is. The people, and you must make them feel that they are part of government. Why are the people angry today? It's because they don't even believe they are government any longer. And I think we cannot continue like this.
All right, let's take another paper. And just to mention, before we were temporarily disconnected from YouTube, I don't know if you saw the thunder and the heavy rainfall, if it got to your own end. But, it's been a heavy rainy morning for the past few minutes. Hopefully, by the time we're done with the show, the rain would have come down.
It's Mary Ozuzo. Yes.
What's happening? How are you learning Igbo?
I mean, I'm pan-Nigeria.
Miri Ozuzo.
Miri Ozuzo.
I hope that I even pronounced it correctly. All right, let's move to...
We have a correspondent who will be joining us very soon.
Yes, shortly.
Victor Badike joining from the Take It Back protest in Lagos. So hopefully he joins us anytime soon. But in the meantime, the phone lines are also on the screen there as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I'd like to advise Victor Badike, to guide. Guide yourself. It knows what I mean.
Phone guard.
Yeah, because and it's one of the bad things that discouraged tourism from Nigeria. It was at Ojude Oba. Fortunately, he didn't guide his phone, so they helped him. They helped themselves to his phone. Now he's attending another protest. Please be fully guided.
Okay. Still on the front page of the Punch, Ebola alerts. Federal government tightens airport border screening. I'll get your reaction to that, but let's also see private sector falls 100,000 minimum wage proposal. And then that will be all on the front page.
Yes, but let's talk about Ebola because it seems to be very far away from us. But preparedness level, I think I saw a poll yesterday that said we're about 65% prepared. But you will never know until you sit for the exam. The United States tried to, there are protests in Kenya. 2 people have been dead. And then the same United States that wants Kenya to house its own citizens that are exposed to Ebola has issued a travel warning against going to Kenya. So are they trying to eat their cake and have it? What's really going on?
So I think, judging from history, I trust that Nigeria will be able to react or prepare. Now, the word is prepare. 65%, it's not a bad figure, just 5% from 70, which will have given anybody A in the real sense of it. So I believe that we'll do all we can within our power. I trust our head officials, and I also trust the commitment of government on issues like this that will be able
Should
to.
we issue a travel advisory?
Of course, yes. That should have been the first thing.
Anyway,
of course, that should have been the first thing.
You came back from London, you're fine.
Especially in communities where, visa-free communities, where Nigerians can just take their passport and just travel to. And I think Kenya is visa-free now, so we should. Okay. We should, actually. No.
So do we have more news? Yeah, we still have about 9 minutes.
Okay, maybe let's go to Al Jazeera. On the front page of Al Jazeera, 2027, my favorite story. Women leaders push for female candidates.
Why is
empowering women politically.
Today is Women Crush Wednesday.
Critical to achieving sustainable development and others. Joe. Yes,
Men's Month is June. Yeah.
Women leaders push for female candidates.
178 Kano communities at risk of flooding, says NEMA. Police arrest officer over alleged killing with tear gas in Edo State. So we start killing with tear gas now. 6 Oyo reps dump PDP, join Makinde in APM. CBN malls reducing cash outside banks to 40%. Federal government inaugurates committee for 27th Democracy Day celebration. Niger, Emir appoints new Shiroman Kagara. And insecurity, reps urge federal government to step up security strategies and rescue kidnapped school children.
I would like us to touch on the headline. Women leader push for female candidates. You've been in the field before. You're a politician. What do we need to do? And looking at Nigeria's myriad of problems and Nigeria's political class, it's safe to say that it's not the women that put us where we are today. We've tried men, so let's try women.
All right.
And
did you hear what Benga said?
That is not women that.
Is it women?
No, it's not.
Are the bandits women?
It's not women that put us women. I agree with that. Let's hear from Frank, calling from Port Harcourt first. Frank, good morning. Please go ahead.
Good morning, you all in the studio.
Good morning.
Yeah, let me talk about the teachers protesting all over the country. Yes, their protest is in the right direction. They are protesting for their safety. And their colleagues that have been in captive for more than 3 weeks now. So I'm appealing to Mr. President and the governor of Oyo State, for them to expedite action to make sure that the teachers and the students have been released. I heard that the Oyo State governor has been sharing rights for the families of those kidnapped students. Please, it's not right they are asking for. What they are asking for is the safety of their children, not right. If it is right, they wouldn't have even come out to cry. That is not their problem. Their problem is their child, their children that have been on Lakaki for how many weeks now. Please, Mr. Governor, do the right thing. Stop playing politics over the lives of all your people. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Always Frank.
The rice concept.
So I did hear the story about the rice, but I think
we had a video. I don't know if we put it up. We went to actually interview them, and one of the ballets was saying that the government representatives had come to give them rice and money, and that their women refused it because they don't want rice. What they want is their children to be brought back.
Well, sorry that I'm laughing. You see, I like the way the governor actually spoke about everybody uniting against insecurity. I like his posture. I like that he's not trying to blame the federal government. But again, democracy has given power to the people to make decisions as how they want their destiny to be. And one of the most important decisions is the election decision. I hope. People always ask me this question: who will change Nigeria? Is it the leaders or the followers? Anytime I go out to talk about leadership. And there's a concept that came to my mind. If somebody is benefiting from a system, the person will not be interested in changing the system.
Absolutely.
So if we get to a point that we know that Nigeria has got to a point where we need to change, it is with the people that we make that decision. And election always gives us that opportunity to say we want to make this decision. I hope that with all of these things going on, this issue of rice will not come up again in 2027 election. And people will suspend their reasoning, and they will only press a reset after they might have elected the wrong set of people into office. I am just hoping. But this is a serious case, and I like the way apart from the rice issue, which I'm just hearing about, I like the way the governor actually spoke. And those people who think that every solution is rice-based, they must have a rethink.
Rice is not an economic policy.
Well, it's not. It's not in the Constitution.
It's
And like
not a
someone said maybe there should be a hashtag that should start trending. Say no to rice. Hashtag say no to rice.
Rice is a political food.
Okay. I mean, it is a political food in Liberia, so I think...
Political carbohydrate. But how about the protein?
The protein.
Away from, Gbenga Aborowa and his dry jokes, still on the front page, let's talk about NEMA's report. 178 Kano communities at risk of flooding. That's for Kano, but it's beyond Kano.
Yes.
Around the country. Have we started seeing preparedness?
Yeah.
Or what is happening, or what will happen again is that in the peak of July, when people's houses and cars are flooded, we'll start crying.
It has started. You're waiting for July.
It has actually started.
Have you been to Agungi recently?
Why are you always speaking on Agungi?
I don't know what Agungi did to you.
I'm not. We have a colleague that lives there, and I really feel for him. Honestly.
I don't want you to mention the name of the colleague.
People staring rack.
But the truth is that I think the report affects about 27 states if that information is right. And we mustn't leave it in the hand of government alone. There must be a deliberate effort for people to also prepare for the rainy day. You know, when they say prepare for the rainy day, you just think it's about saving.
Literally.
It's just about also keeping your environment clean. Those who live in all of these flood-prone areas actually have an understanding. They actually know that these are flood-prone areas. But when you block the waterways, you block the drainages, there are places I went to in Festac the other day, and I saw buildings growing on waterways. And I'm surprised that what are the regulators looking at? People are building there.
It's Venice.
People are building there. And I don't want us to.
Yeah, but why do the regulators wait until they should stop it before it gets? Because they will believe it. They will allow it to get fully built. People will move in, and then they say government doesn't have a human face when they demolish it after all this year. So they need to move in at this point while it's still under construction.
And the sad part of it is that the developers are going to sell these buildings to people.
All right.
My friend bought a house in February. By September, she had become homeless.
All right. Let's take a call from Uche. Uche is calling from Abia State. Good morning, Uche. Thanks for calling. Please go ahead.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning, Uche.
Yeah, the issue is this. Do we value human lives in this country? Regards to insecurity, the Northern Brothers and some of the elders are just politicking. When last did you see them, protesting against the killing? The same thing that happens in Oyo. People have, started demonstrating. You ask yourself, those billionaire pastors and clerics in Southwest, where are their voices? People have been dying. Look at the small children inside the bush, or in this rainy season. It's a pity. Did the government of Nigeria value human lives? That is the question we'll be asking both the politicians and the people in government. God bless you, people.
Thank you very much, Uche.
Thank you,
Value of human life.
Yes, and at the end of the day, this is what I think. I think the government will be, if it's in a place where everybody is thinking before they cast their vote on the day of election, I think the government will be the victim. And this is the strategy. It's very, very simple. We have kidnapped people from the north. We didn't get the required attention. But let's come to the west and kidnap. Because the people of the west will hit the street.
But we keep talking as if this kidnapping is from one monolithic group, or all the kidnappers have an association. There are different people that are kidnapping. We saw some kidnappers that were apprehended yesterday.
In Ogun.
In Ogun State. There are different people buy into this franchise of crime, like you say, for different reasons.
Yeah.
So I think it's wrong for us to think they're all working in tandem. There's one political kidnapper, there's kidnapping for ransom group. There are different criminal groups that are operating in Nigeria.
If you look
and the government should deal with them with the same equal and decisive force.
If you look at the mode of their operation, you can tell the ones that are similar. If it's just for ransom, these people will have had conversation. We are hearing now that they are saying that some of their members are in captivity. That's the conversation that is going. So you can actually link this up together with what's happening in up north and be able to identify who and who are responsible. So I am not saying it's one. In fact, people in communities now find it very easy to buy into this crime and begin to kidnap people. But what we are saying is that the one that happened in Oyo is a strategic conversation with government that, see, we might have kidnapped in the north, you are not saying anything. If we come here to kidnap,
even the beheading sends a message.
A clear message. And the Nigerian government should have responded in an equal dimension. But of course, they have human shield all around them. Yeah. They have kids. So it's limited as to what can be done. Yeah. You understand? So, and that's why I say that we will fall back to intelligence. And intelligence is not just the job of the security operative. The intelligence that we're talking about is the job of everybody. But you cannot offer intelligence to a government that you do not trust. Then it comes back to the issue of believability that I've been talking about. It has come to a point where a lot of people don't even believe, except people eating from government, that anything good can come from their government again. It's so sad. So intelligence to prevent some of these things.
Let's take this call. We have Jumoke from Lagos. It's nice to have a female call in this morning. Hello, Jumoke.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Can you speak up?
Speak up, please.
Yes, I'm speaking of good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I just want to contribute on the issue you are discussing. We have lost all our trust on this government, so-called government, whatever they gather themselves, call themselves leader, or whatever English they package themselves. We should just do something right. And these people, they are not ready for us. And with this new incoming generation, we should just have it at our brain, or how do we put it? Let's bring out this Oyo issue. Number one. Number two, when in 2014, when President Goodluck was there, this our sitting president, he was the first to lead the protest. And what he saw on that seat is now his turn to repeat. So they should not use us to negotiate on the political seat. Please and please and please and please, let's do the needful. God bless you all.
Thank you very much. She raised a very pertinent point about, I mean, we've been here before, in the height of insecurity under President Goodluck Jonathan. I was actually at the Ojota protest. I remember Tunde Bakari, Femi Kuti. Ojota was filled to the brim, and full subsidy of Occupy Nigeria and all of this. And he made several statements. Why are those same people that made noise then, why are they so quiet? You look at individuals like Pastor Tunde Bakari and the others.
Yeah, times have changed. Times have changed significantly, and of course, a lot of things have happened between then and now. One of the things that somebody told me, one reason why he gave that he voted President Tinubu was the fact that he was trying to convince me. And he told me that there's nobody who will become president in Nigeria and will not have some godfather controlling him beneath the chair or the table. But he said, if President Tinubu, that was before 2023, becomes the president, the Jagaban will be able to do a lot of things, will be able to change because he has the power, he's the godfather himself. And I believed him. If I could cast my vote for President Tinubu, then I would have done so. But I was restrained because of the very brilliant performance of presentation of the SDP man. Who then, Adebayo. I was forced to say, oh, I love this new idea. That's what I voted for Adebayo. But with what that man said, now thinking about it, you now begin to think, is President Tinubu helpless? And the day that I began to pray for him, the day I saw the helplessness in real life was the day he appointed the new Minister of Defense. Remember that he had relieved the man because of some circumstantial situation, thinking that maybe the man is not performing. But just weeks down the line, he went to appoint the same man as Minister of Defense. What does that tell you? It tells you that Baba did not really have a grasp of what was happening. And since that day, I knew that, oh, there's something wrong somewhere. We may not be able to see it. And I'm going to speak to the president this morning. That the belief of that man in the village that spoke to me for hours, thinking that the Messiah has come, must not be punctured. The Jagaban, do you know what it means to be the Jagaban? It means that you have everything figured out. You are the #1 man in the world chess. You can do anything. You can make somebody the governor and stop him from re-election just 4 years after. That's some kind of power. But this is this is now. Now is the time we need the power.
We need to see a security jagaban.
We need to see him. The way he's been able to say, oh, we are reforming the economy, he must also understand that if the security situation is not improved upon, we will not eat the product of this process, this painful process that he has talked about. So that tells us that the president we need now is a decisive president. It's not a president that will be willing or will be concerned about what happens in 2027 over the reality of what the people are facing now. My president must not allow charlatans to take over our community. My president must not allow people from, because I believe that some of these people are not even Nigerians. He must not allow people from other community, other country to come and put us in chaos in our own community
now,
and our country.
Fortunately, what this chaos has led us to is that there are strikes, there are protests happening, and our correspondent Victor is currently covering one of the protests in Ikeja. Good morning, Victor. Talk to us about where you are, what the situation of the protest is right now.
Hello, good morning, if you can hear me. Well, this is, we're currently at Ikeja under bridge, and we have a cluster of them already gathered to, protest as far as the kidnappings in Oyo and other states are concerned. And do not forget that over 49 both students and teachers were kidnapped sometime 2 weeks ago. And 2 weeks after, these guys are still in the bush. And the protest, of course, began a few days ago, and it continues again today. Now, the argument is they wouldn't leave the government of Oyo State to do the job alone. Injury to one, it's an injury to all. So they are saying that this protest will be carried out across all the 36 states, if possible, to send a very glaring message to the presidency as to the urgency needed to save the lives of those who are still currently in the forest. And just behind me is a cluster of Take It Back movement protesters who are also raising their voices and asking questions why there has been a huge delay in the release of these victims in our bushes. But let's go ahead and talk to a few of them who would likely want to talk to us. Just take a second. Okay, I've got one of the conveners here who is set out. Let's ask him very quickly. Protest. How much do you want to continue with this protest, and how do you intend that this protest get you the required, attention from government?
Well, my name is Commander. Don't silence me. I'm the Lagos State Take It Back Secretary. The protest will end when the Nigerian government are proactive about our security. Do you understand? This is the third day for some of our comrades, but the Lagos State is starting today till we get the freedom of those kids out. So we intend on continuing the protest till the freedom of those kids. So we are here, we are organized here. As you can see, a lot of comrades are around. So we are here. We are not going anywhere yet.
Tell us exactly how much of this protest do you think will get the attention of government, and what do we need to do more beyond this protest?
I didn't get that. I didn't get your question.
No. How much of this protest do you think will get the attention of government? What do we need to do beyond this?
Okay, so what we are doing beyond now is to continue to mobilize Nigerians, because the situation we are is nobody is safe. It's not even just about the children. Now, that's why we are also pushing. If we have a situation where our representatives' children attend the schools where our children attend, I want to believe situation like this will not have happened. Because if their children actually make use of government parastatals, if their children attend government schools, the place would have been much more secured than what it is. So what we are also pushing for is not just the release of those children, but we are moving for
all right, little network connectivity issues there. Hopefully we can connect back with our man, Victor. But what's your take? They said they're not going to stop.
I think we're back.
All right, are we back?
Now, Victor, quickly.
A good educational system would have everything, every basic things that a school or a parastatal should have, would have them.
A school of thought says that the government is doing something to release these victims? Is it a question of being slow to walk, or is it a question of them not doing anything about it in terms of government intervention so far? Come again. In terms of government intervention, are you saying that they are slow to walk or they're not doing anything at all about it?
All right, thank you very much. Yes, the government is not doing anything, because when your actions are not effective or providing results or yielding outcomes, then it is not favorable to us. It simply means your actions and implementations of strategies are null and void, right? Beyond that, how are you saying that you are trying to secure us and then you are trying to give ransom to kidnapped victims? Imagine if my sister got kidnapped and you gave ransom to them because she got kidnapped, they will come for my brother. It's as simple as that. Another talk point is that 30 minutes to an hour before vigilantes, right, or before the jihadists would come to attack the community, they get disarmed or they get disbought, right? They get dismissed. It's as simple as that. So it makes no sense. You give us simple thoughts to think that basically you are funding them. You might not be funding them indirectly, but as much as you are paying ransoms to them, you are funding them. And some of us have been to the prisons where we see these jihadists, where we see these terrorists, basically. They don't look like they have 500,000 naira. So where is the money going to?
All right, the momentum is building gradually, especially, I mean, when rain almost disrupted the activities of these protesters. But we see how all of this pans out in the course of time. And a few hours from now, let's see how all of this will end up. Remember, it's a protest against the kidnapping of Oyo and, of course, other kidnapping incidents across Nigeria. So let's see how this goes, guys.
Thank you very much, Victor, for bringing us that update. We'll continue to follow on with the protest. Jasiri, ladies will also bring you more updates in this regard. Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Ojo, as well. And thank you to our virtual audience. You know, we apologize for the disconnection earlier. We look forward to continue the conversations with you virtually. We'll see you again, same time tomorrow. Any final thoughts or final words?
Just shout out to Mokwa Chukwemeka.
Oh, you're trying to lobby my committee.
No, I mean, that's all. That's all. I mean, I really hope that those kids and the teachers get released.
All right. And in the spirit of shout-out, a special recognition to Mr. Demola Kerele, SA.
I knew it.
My mentor. Thank you very much, sir, for everything you've been, and happy birthday. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.